What? All right. Welcome to another reaction stream, another fun-filled episode of Weaponized Autism. It's a solo stream today. Yes, I am aware that I am doing this in the afternoon and not in the evening like I normally do, and there is a reason for that. That reason being that my mom gets off work early today, so when she gets off, she and I are going to go meet my sisters and my nephew for dinner tonight, because birthday dinner. Since I had my birthday last week, my nephew just had his birthday 2 days ago. And so that's the way we're gonna do it. Hope everybody has had a good week so far. I'm still working on my follow-up playthrough. Hey, Random Gamer, what's up, brother? I'm still working on my follow-up playthrough. I think I'm in the last, 30 minutes to an hour worth of the game itself that I'm working on. Still not going to tell you what it is until the playthrough's finished. I meant to record gameplay this morning, but I got caught up in reading, so there's that. So we've got some stuff to get to today before I have to go meet my. It happens. It definitely does. We've got some stuff to get to before I have to go meet my sisters and my nephew for dinner tonight. For our birthday celebration. So, per my brother and Autism Kaysen's request, we're going to start the stream up. Hey, brother. Hey, Kaysen. So, per Kaysen's request, we are going to start the stream up with his latest video, entitled, When It's Your 300th Playthrough. I see you've been playing the RE4 remake with the RPD skin. Which, nothing wrong with that. Let's see. Alright, Kaysen, I want to see what you cooked up with this one. Oh, okay. Yep. This this fun little bit. It glitched out. All you got was RPD skin. Uh-oh. Whew. Oh. Oh, you mean the stream glitched? That's weird, because it looks... It's looking fine on my part. Still running over here. Alrighty. Well, hopefully that's the only time it happens. Also, was the volume turned way down when you did this? All right. I think I've seen similar videos to that one before in like YouTube Shorts. But I mean, hey, that's a clean way to do it. There's a very clean way to do it. So, we've got a new AI-generated teaser concept. Be wary for RE9 spoilers. I saw people were all over Twitter talking about it. So, yeah, I'm... Honestly, the majority of my Twitter feed is just... Is people bitching about fandoms and people bitching about the whole Epstein Files situation. So I might be safe, but I'm also like hardly ever on Twitter for more than like 5 minutes a day, because honestly, social media is just kind of a cesspool of dipshittery. So we have a new teaser, a new AI-generated concept video from Strider. This one is Metal Gear Solid reimagined as a 90s movie. And I have not watched the video yet, but I do know that Kurt Russell was in the thumbnail. And I'm pretty sure he was Snake. Which checks out. Kind of checks out, considering Solid Snake is just a ripoff of Snake Plissken anyway. So, let's check it out.
I'm no hero. Never was. I'm just a man who's good at what he does. Killing. Your objective is to infiltrate the nuclear weapons disposal facility.
Do we have any fails to stream? I mean, we don't have any fail, like, compilation videos, but there is going to be some dumb shit in this stream, trust me.
I'm counting on you, Snake. Don't forget, you're a soldier.
Turn this down a little bit. Honestly, Kurt Russell as Snake is the easiest shoo-in, which... Fun fact, Kojima wanted to have Kurt Russell play Weaponized the Autism, exactly. Kojima wanted Kurt Russell to voice Big Boss in Metal Gear Solid 3. Naked Snake. He wanted Kurt Russell to voice Naked Snake in Metal Gear Solid 3, and Kurt Russell was like, This isn't John Carpenter's Snake, what the hell am I doing here? What the hell would I be doing here? I still feel like having David Hayter play Big Boss in the prequel games was a mistake. I feel like they really should have hired a completely different actor to voice Big Boss for those games, for the pre-Solid Snake games. But that's just me. Sam Elliott is Ocelot. Be back in a few minutes. Yeah, I got you. Sam Elliott is Ocelot. I could see if he could do a Russian accent. Just on the surface level. Linda Hamilton is Meryl. I probably could see that. Early 90s Linda Hamilton, like T2 Linda Hamilton, maybe. Monica Bellucci as Sniper Wolf. I could see it. She's not Russian, but I mean, you'd have to change her from Gary Oldman as Snake. Maybe? You'd have to give him facial prosthetics to make him look closer to Kurt Russell, though. Crispin Glover is Psycho Mantis. I can see it. I could definitely see that. Michael Clark Duncan as Vulcan Raven. Is there anyone else better suited to play that? Maybe Ving Rhames, but I could definitely see it. David Duchovny as Otacon. Still have not seen the X-Files, so I'm just going to go with maybe. Gene Hackman as Roy Campbell, most definitely. I could easily see it. James Cromwell as Miller. I mean, considering the plot twist involving Miller, I feel like you could just use Gary Oldman and have him doing a completely different voice. Because the thing about Gary Oldman as an actor, sometimes his voice, sometimes you can have him under layers of makeup or have him doing a different accent, and people will actually, well, both, and people will actually forget it's Gary Oldman. Like when he played Winston Churchill, or when he was in Hannibal, the guy who was maimed by Hannibal Lecter. So, I mean, if you cast James Cromwell as Jim Houseman, the Secretary of Defense, I could easily see it. But Miller, I feel like you should just use Gary Oldman and have him do a different voice. He doesn't have an eye patch. That's... no. You fucked up there, Aaron. I think the AI forgot that Miller's supposed to be wearing sunglasses, not an eye patch, but whatever. So now, I guess the Residents of Evil has some comments about, has some thoughts on a statement that was recently put out by the CEO of Constantine Films regarding Zach Cregger's upcoming Resident Evil film. I've seen a lot of people spurging out on Twitter over these comments, and I understand the internet's capacity for taking things wildly out of context. I understand the internet is where nuance goes to die. And I know that Zach Cregger has stated that this is going to be set in the same continuity as the games, but it's going to be its own story. So, there's my take on it.
Hey guys, JJ here, and we just got a big update on Zach Krieger's Resident Evil movie, and honestly, this one might change how we look at the entire project. So with that being said, let's get right into it. Recently, new details surfaced about the upcoming Resident Evil film, which is currently editing and still scheduled to release on September 18th, 2026. According to Constantine Film CEO Oliver Bourbon, this new version of Resident Evil is being described as a complete new setup. And even more interesting, he says that the film is far from everything that is connected to Resident Evil, mainly because Zach Krieger has his own unique style as a filmmaker. Now that right there is a pretty big shift from what we heard previously. Before, the messaging sounded like this movie would respect the timeline and exist within the same world as the games, just telling a different story with original characters. But hearing phrases like a complete new setup and far away from everything connected to Resident Evil definitely raises some questions about what direction they're actually taking.
There's a part of me that is pretty sure he's talking about far removed from what we've seen movie-wise, as opposed to Resident Evil period, point blank, movies and games. Because, lest we forget that, and I say for the movies because, number one, Zach Kreger has said that he does not want to just do the plot of the game in movie form. Because if you want the plot of the games, just play the fucking games, which, here's my take on that thing. There are, when you're adapting a video game, it's not like adapting a novel or a comic book where ideally speaking, you just open the book up and just, there's your story, now translate it to film. When it comes to adapting a video game, you have at least two viable options. You can do the straight adaptation route, where you're just using the story of the game as your guidebook for how the movie's plot goes, and then you try to retranslate that into film form, which is a viable means of adapting a video game to movie. Paul W.S. Anderson did it with Mortal Kombat back in '95. We just saw Markiplier do it with Iron Lung. And even though it does make substantial deviations from its source material, Christoph Gans did that really well with Silent Hill back in 2006. So that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is you can make a completely original story that theoretically can be used in the same continuity as the games. And an example of that done, maybe not like to the best of its ability, but it definitely, like, the spirit of it is there, is like the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movies. Where those movies, like, neither of the Angelina Jolie Tomb Raider movies are based on any of the Tomb Raider video games. MGS4 finally free from PS3 jail, which is amazing. It's good for Konami to finally pull that out of their ass. But, like, neither of the two Angelina Jolie films are adapted from any of the early Tomb Raider games. But they are original stories that could be set within the same continuity of the original series. So, something like that. And Zach Kreger has said that's what this movie is going to be. I'm sure people are blatantly misinterpreting the Constantine CEO's words as this is going to be just its own thing and we're just putting Resident Evil on the cover. I don't think that's what's going on. I just think that the internet is intentionally taking this quote out of context to piss and moan, because people love to piss and moan. People love to put things down before they see them, or without even seeing them in general. And Resident Evil has been rage gets clicks, exactly, which is why I refuse to engage in rage bait content, because I have some goddamn integrity. And When Constantine's CEO is saying this is far removed from anything we've seen with Resident Evil before, my brain goes to, this is going to be far removed from, especially fan rage, exactly. My mind goes to, this is going to be far removed from anything we've seen movie-wise, like, not the Paul W.S. Anderson movies, where it was just Underworld with zombies, not, Johannes Roberts' movie, not Welcome to Raccoon City, which was let's try to mush two narratives together, which was an ambitious idea, and I still appreciate that movie for what it was trying to be. But in my opinion, it was a case of it's good, but Welcome to Raccoon City for me is a case of it's good, but it can be better, and I blame. You're actually being nice in your Welcome to Raccoon City review. I mean, you're not wrong. You're really not wrong on that. So, and Zach Kreger himself has openly stated that he has not watched any of the prior Resident Evil movies. I assume he's talking about live action. He could be talking animation too. He has said that he doesn't want to just... Zach Cregger falls into the camp of, if I want the plot of the game, I'll just play the game. And that is a perfectly valid mindset to have. Because Resident Evil has such a massive ensemble of characters that you don't need to focus on the core on the core stars, survivors, Raccoon City survivors. This is where I extend the finger almost daily. I mean, I stole it from Razor Fist, so... Alright, but let's get back through this.
Urban also mentioned that Krieger was given full creative freedom to do whatever he wants with the IP. And depending on how you look at that, that could either be really exciting or a little concerning. On one hand, giving a horror director creative control could finally give us something fresh and genuinely scary. Krieger's work on Barbarian and Weapons shows he understands tension and atmosphere, which is honestly something the Resident Evil film franchise has struggled with in the past.
JJ isn't wrong there. I've been told by people that Barbarian is maybe the closest, is somehow more Resident Evil than actual Resident Evil. I have not seen Barbarian and Weapons, so I can't... Kaysen has, I haven't, so I can't attest to that. Yohannes Roberts made his name by doing smaller scale horror films, like 47 Meters Down, and as long as it isn't Zach Cregger filming his wife in a hot way because she won't have coitus with him, I will be happy. Anyways, Yohannes Roberts did low budget horror before jumping into Resident Evil. 47 Meters Down, Strangers Prey at Night. Paul W.S. Anderson, the only horror film to his credit prior to doing Resident Evil was Event Horizon, which, solid movie, but bombed, unfortunately. I'm assuming the only reason he was hired to do Resident Evil back in the early 2000s was because the studio executives saw he did Mortal Kombat, and that printed money, so video game property, hey, he made bank with this one, he can make bank with this one. And he did, unfortunately. Because the only thing worse than and I say unfortunately because the only thing worse than a bad movie that doesn't make money is a bad movie that does make money. The entire MCU. Anyway... Barbarian and Weapons are 10 out of 10. I think Ari's in good hands. Now, see, I will take your word for that. I will take your word for that. I'm being cautiously optimistic with this.
But, on the other hand, Resident Evil fans have heard promises before. We've seen reboots, reinterpretations, and adaptations that drift too far from the core of what makes Resident Evil so special. So when I hear far away from everything connected to Resident Evil, I'm not gonna lie, that makes me pause a little bit. Now, it is also possible that this wording is being taken more stylistically than literally. They might just mean the tone, the filmmaking approach, or the storytelling structure is different. Not necessarily that the lore or world is completely gone. And until we see a trailer or get some concrete details, it's really hard to say exactly what that means. My honest thoughts, I'm cautiously optimistic, but also very cautious. I still have a lot of faith in Zach Cregger as a director. Everything he's done shows he understands horror in a way that could really benefit Resident Evil. But like I said in my last video, it's not just about the director, it's about how much the studio lets him actually respect the source material.
By the way, Paul W.S. Anderson had carte blanche. I think it was starting from Afterlife on up, or it could have been after. I can't say after the first one because he didn't direct Apocalypse and Extinction. I think from Afterlife onwards, he pretty much had carte blanche to do whatever he wanted, which is why those movies are the way they are. I feel like I would hope that Zach Cregger has somebody on set to rein him in and tell him, hey, this is a good idea, this might need ironing out, and this kind of sucks. I hope to God Zach Cregger has somebody on set to do that with him. as opposed to a studio head saying, "No, this is what you get. This is what you get." You know, that kind of bullshit. Didn't hate Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter had its moments, but I really didn't. And also, Kason, yes, he did not direct Extinction. So, Apocalypse was directed by a first-time director, a typically second-unit director named Alexander Witt. And he came from a background of predominantly action movies, which is one of the reasons Apocalypse is more action-oriented. That and Anderson wanted Apocalypse to be the Aliens to the first movie's Alien, where Aliens is more action-oriented, even though Aliens is more of an action horror, because yeah, it's an action movie, but it's still predominantly a horror movie. It's more of a horror. Aliens is more of a horror movie with action scenes in it, and Apocalypse is just an action movie. But I'd gladly be that guy on set for free. And now, yeah, me too. But Extinction was directed by a guy named Russell Mulcahy. And Russell Mulcahy is the guy who directed the original Highlander with Christopher Lambert and Sean Connery back in the 80s. And he also did The Shadow with Alec Baldwin. So, yeah, Anderson directed the first movie, and he did Afterlife, Retribution, and Final Chapter, but Apocalypse and Extinction were handled by other people. So,
if this really is a complete reboot with a totally new vision, then we might be looking at something very different from what fans were expecting. And whether that ends up being a good thing or not, we're just gonna have to wait and see. The Resident Evil franchise has always walked a fine line between experimentation and staying true to its roots, and right now it feels like we're standing right on the edge again. For the upcoming Resident Evil 9 Requiem, Capcom just officially launched a live-action short film titled Evil Has Always Had a Name. It follows a mother and daughter as they fight for their lives to escape during the outbreak in Raccoon City, and honestly I thought it was fantastic. Just that little bit had so much emotion to it that I would be 100% on board with Capcom doing a full movie like that. I've said previously,
I don't know if you want to have the director of that little short do it, though, because War of the Worlds 2026 or 25. Highlander's underrated. I thought Christopher Lambert was the face model for RE3 remake. Nikolai. I remember you telling me that. I vaguely remember you telling me that over Discord.
I don't mind them focusing on new characters as long as they respect the timeline and lore that the games are set in. I always thought an Outbreak-style movie with new characters banding together for survival would be a fantastic idea, just like Dawn of the Dead. There's honestly so many new and interesting stories that could be told within the outbreak of Raccoon City alone. I think Zach Krieger is a very competent director, and I'm very curious to see what he's going to do with this film.
Well, as far as I know, Kason, the only video game Christopher Lambert is involved in is the one Mortal Kombat movie where they did, or the one Mortal Kombat game where they did like the multiverse thing, and they brought in the actors from the Anderson movie to reprise their roles as like alternate versions of Johnny Cage and Raiden and Shang Tsung and Sonya.
I'm going to reserve any judgment I have until I watch it, but now I'm curious.
Which was that? I don't. Oh. It's either Mortal Kombat 10 or Mortal Kombat 1. Maybe, possibly, I'm not sure. Because the only Mortal Kombat. I've only played 2 Mortal Kombat games to completion. One was the Genesis port of the original, and the other was Mortal Kombat 2009 on the 360. Those are the only 2 ones I've ever played, because I'm not a big fighting game guy outside of like Smash Brothers.
Curious to know your thoughts. Do you have faith in Zach Krieger and think he'll deliver the movie Resident Evil fans want? Do you think it's a good?
It was Mortal Kombat 10. Thank you, Random Gamer. I couldn't remember if it was Mortal Kombat 10 or. So I appreciate you clearing that up.
thing that they gave them full creative control? What kind of Resident Evil movie would you like to see? Let us know down below in the comments, and let's have a discussion about it. Real quick, I want to tell you about our sponsor, Green Man Gaming. If you're planning on picking up Resident Evil Requiem on PC, this is honestly the best way to do it. Right now, Green Man Gaming is offering 18% off Resident Evil Requiem, the Standard Edition, and the Deluxe Edition for Steam. If you go with the Deluxe Edition, you're getting a ton of extra content, including multiple costumes, filters, weapon skins, charms, the Raccoon City Classic Audio Pack, and bonus files like letters from 1998. On top of that, any pre-purchase also comes with an extra costume for Grace, so you're getting even more for just locking it in early. What I personally like about Green Man Gaming is they are 100% an official PC games retailer. They work directly with over 1,300 publishers and developers, so when you buy through them, you're still fully supporting the devs. You're just saving money at the same time. And if you've never used Green Man Gaming before, it's really easy. You purchase a key that you can then redeem on Steam, so all your games are in one place. If you want to grab Resident Evil Requiem for PC right now and save 18%, make sure to use the affiliate link in the description. It helps support the channel and gets you the best deal at the same time. So what are you waiting for? If you're gonna buy it anyways, you might as well save some money. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and we hope to see you back at the Resident of Evil.
So far, JJ is the only person I've seen actually have a nuanced take about this. And I appreciate somebody actually having one, but anyone know if it's possible to put a different Gmail on my YouTube? I'm not sure. I'm not the guy to ask about that, because I've been using the same email for my YouTube since I started this channel in 2000. Never played it, but MK11 had time travel stuff. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Huh. That is, I think you're right about that. I actually was not aware of that. I might have vaguely seen videos that kind of showed that, but I never, I think I kind of memory hold it.
He's about to yell jackass to the golfer for $100, so. Jackass! Yeah. I didn't do anything. Dude, I didn't even say anything and I'm getting kicked out.
One day in the not so distant future, we are going to be living in a time where no matter where you are, no matter who you are, no matter what you're doing, you are not going to be able to go outside and not be subjected to some dumbass streamer doing something where the punchline is, haha, I'm making the day of everybody around me significantly worse, so me and my equally dumb audience can laugh. Don't.
Hey, Chris, a second, my paranoia shit. Tell my brain once a day about. I can neither confirm nor deny. That's all I can say. I can neither confirm nor deny. I know what you were talking about, Case. Oh God. Oh my Lord. I love the title of this video is Jack Doherty has hit rock bottom. The man's very existence is rock bottom. You're an OnlyFans pimp who gave up his stable for a girl that ripped his heart out. Okay, let me rephrase that. You're an OnlyFans pimp who gave up his stable for a chick you thought you were in love with, but she was just using you to get her to boost herself. And you've been crashing out ever since she left you. Been a while since we had August. That is very true. It's also been a while since we've seen the broccoli-headed pimp himself.
don't know when that day will come. I'm thinking like 4 weeks, but I'm looking forward to it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm beginning to believe that Jack Doherty must work at Webster because that boy is redefining what it means to be a loser. I think the last time we talked about Jack Doherty was when he was arrested in Miami for like standing in the streets. You know, the world's lamest crime. Very fitting for Jack. And honestly, I think I said this in that video. I kind of figured that that was going to be the last time we talked about Jack for the foreseeable future, if not just like ever. Because again, the guy was arrested for standing in the street too long, you know, not something that's super duper noteworthy. And he tried to make it into this huge thing to kind of claw his way back into relevancy, and it didn't really work. And to me, it just sort of seemed to mark the end of people caring about this guy in any way, shape, or form. People just got tired of hearing about him, even if what they were hearing was that he got arrested. People just didn't really seem to care anymore, and it sort of seemed like that was going to end up just being the way it was, and I think that that has been proven to be the case. Because even when this guy is out here making an absolute fool of himself on live stream, doing anything he can to try and get back into the spotlight, it doesn't really seem like anybody cares. That is, except for me, I guess, because I'm making this video. Guess that makes me like Jack Doherty's #1 fan. But we're here because the recent stunt that Jack Doherty has pulled is so unbelievably sad, so unbelievably childlike, that I just had to point and laugh one more time before our friend Jack inevitably fades out into irrelevancy for good. Recently, Jack Doherty was at the Phoenix Open, which is a PGA Tour event, and he was trying to pay people to scream as the golfers were swinging, which obviously is sort of a golf taboo, and it resulted in him being banned from all PGA Tour events for life.
Woo! Ooh! Ooh! I don't even smoke and I feel like I need a cigarette. That is satisfying to hear. Somebody actually had the balls to ban him from something for life. It'll hardly affect him because I'm pretty sure he has a learning disability. But it's a starting point. It is that.
And after he was told this, he has the most
hot take: making videos on Jack really only gives him attention, and he feeds on that shit, good or bad. That is very, very true. That is very true. Unfortunately, that's because he operates off the mindset of any publicity is good publicity. Not when you build your entire brand off of being an unlikable shitheel. Because people who build their brands off hard to resist a clown on it, that is also true. That is also true because it's so easy to. He's such an unlikable force that he just makes it so effortless. And honestly, I mean, guys like him are like herpes. As soon as you think they're gone, they just come right back up. Tried to get Papa Raquel to join him when she was I have no idea who Piper Raquel is, so
child.
But that's fucked. But that is extremely fucked.
Like reaction we've ever seen this guy have to anything, and that's really saying a lot. So that being said, let's not waste any more time. Let me show you the clip. Please subscribe.
Yell something on his back when he goes to hit right now.
For $100?
For $100.
What do I gotta yell?
Just jackass or some shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
$100 to scream the word jackass at a guy trying to hit his ball out of a bunker. Just for 100?
Are you retarded?
Bro, don't talk to me unless you start offering 1,000, and even then, I'm not going to take it. OF under 18 is illegal. She's a former child influencer who's controlled by her mom. Ew. Okay. I already hate her mom, and I hate Jack Doherty even more. I feel like anytime somebody underage starts becoming an influencer, we should instantly, that they start getting into the public light, we should instantly start investigating their parents just because, or the people immediately around them. her and Lil Tay. Yeah, Lil Tay's another example of that, where her brother was completely managing her image. It's like, we don't need. It's like that's no, just absolutely not. Don't that should not be a thing. That should not even. It's the Michael Jackson Macaulay Culkin thing. It's Michael Jackson and Macaulay Culkin all over again. But it's on the internet, which is more easily accessible than the music industry or the film industry, which makes it even more insidious. It's like the kids of that Daddy 05 prick, or Kason, you brought up Lil Tay. I'm going to throw it out there. The kid from Ryan's World, which Michael Jackson tried to protect them, and that's why they tried to make him out to be a threat. That is very, very true, and unfortunately, there are still people who actually think he is, because they're retarded and they don't think beyond the initial headlines. The whole Ryan's World thing just thinking about it makes my skin crawl. And however you feel about PewDiePie, hats off to him for being one of the first people for being one of the bigger voices to really call that out and say, no, this is fucked, this should not be a thing. You might not like his content. I don't like his content, frankly. I'm not a PewDiePie guy. As far as like YouTubers that do gaming content go, I'm more of a John Wolfe guy, where he's more laid back and dry and sarcastic. Maybe Markiplier if I'm in the right mood, but PewDiePie calling out the whole Ryan's World thing, that's a point you really gotta give to him.
Yeah. He's about to yell jackass to the golfer for $100, so.
Fuck this guy.
Fuck him. Jackass!
That's $100.
I got you.
Can you imagine being a grown-ass man and finding this kind of shit funny? Like, if Jack Doherty's age matched his appearance and he actually was just 14, then yeah, sure, this makes sense. But these two dudes seem to be in their mid-20s, and they are yelling at golfers at a golf tournament that they paid to be at. It's just like, at some point you expect everybody to grow out of stuff like this. I guess that's not always the case, though.
Mortuary Assistant was good. Did you see it in a theater? Because I tried to watch it on Shudder, and it wasn't on Shudder, and apparently it's not supposed to be on Shudder for like another month, which is fucking bullshit. I'm gonna be honest. I still laugh at that bit from Jackass the movie where it's Johnny Knoxville and the guys hiding in the bushes on the golf course, and every time somebody comes down with a swing, they just start blowing air horns. That is funny. Like, I think, like, I'm in my 30s and I still think that bit is fun. That is hilarious. This isn't even clever. This isn't even clever adjacent. It's just pathetic and retarded. Had to go to a theater 11 miles away. It wasn't playing in my theater, so nice to know you guys got it down there, Kason, but we didn't get it in Cape Girardeau, so I'm gonna have to wait until it hits streaming, which I fucking hate. Johnny Knoxville was just annoying random people. It wasn't a PGA Tour, so there is a difference. That is very true. It wasn't a pro PGA event. That was just a golf course. That was just a golf course. It could have been anywhere. It was just people out there having their game. I do love that bit, though. That's one of my favorite bits from the first Jackass movie.
Come on, man.
That wasn't me.
Right here.
That was him.
When Shin Godzilla Limited released in fall 2016, had to drive to Champaign to see it. Oh. You are a more dedicated fan than I am, Jason.
Him. That was him. Even she's telling you.
$100.
Hell yeah, I got you. Nah.
We gotta roll. You gotta go. Okay. Didn't know it was against the law.
I mean, first off, that haircut is against the law. Doherty's take it as a compliment. It's more of an observation, but yeah, but feel free to take it as a compliment. But I feel like Jack Doherty's haircut should be against the law. Number one. Number two, yeah, it's not against the law, but it is noise pollution, and it's disrupting. It's disrespectful to the golfers, and it's a disruption to the tournament. So yeah, you do kindly fuck off into a hole. That was probably self-righteous. Maybe, but I'm gonna let it slide anyway. Just because I am a self-righteous prick.
Way to go, dumbass.
Yeah. I didn't do anything.
My god, what a fucking idiot. Yeah, man, just wait till you find out that they can set pretty much any rules that they want at a private event. Also, I truly don't understand how even, like, the biggest losers on planet Earth can enjoy watching this guy. Dude starts to sneak away the second he senses that he might have to face some sort of consequences for his actions. That for, like, the third or fourth time in his life, maybe he might actually be held accountable for something. Loser is not a strong enough word to describe this slime ball.
You're gonna get trespassed. These guys.
I mean, I can think of another word. It's about 6 letters long, and it starts with an F. And I'll leave it at that.
Absolutely. You're gonna get trespassed from the course. I'm gonna escort you out of here with no issues, alright?
Alright, cool, yeah, but I didn't say anything. We just filmed him do it.
Ban this PGA event.
But look, ask her right there.
PGA event.
I didn't do anything.
Shut up. What are you gonna do?
Lights, let's go. Okay, fair enough. It's PGA.
What is that hair? I don't know what that hair is, dude. British cigarette, you guessed it. You guessed it, brother.
I get it. Where's dude, I didn't even say anything and I'm getting kicked out of the guy. There's someone that actually said something.
Is he just stupid? Like, honestly, I don't like to throw that word around because it's kind of harsh, but, like, seriously, I just have to ask. Like,
actually, stupid is polite compared to what I just said.
Is this an act, or is he really just this stupid? Does he really think that paying somebody to do something that is against the rules would not also be against the rules? Like, again,
bundle of sticks, also right.
This is just a child's reaction to getting in trouble.
Alright guys, we're playing heads or tails on stake.us, and boom, just like that, we just won $1,000. We got all these cops right here. We're getting kicked out of Waste Management right now in Arizona, but look at all these cops. This is insane right now.
What do you guys think the chances are that doing something like this was part of his, like, stake sponsorship agreement for this stream? They're like, yeah, you're not really pulling in any views anymore, so you gotta do something that's gonna go viral so it'll be part of the clip. I also like how he just can't turn off streamer mode. He has to keep trying to upplay everything. No, dude, this is really not insane right now. None of the cops are even looking at you or interacting with you. I think you're just in, like, a backstage area where cops are. Like, you're being kicked out of an event. Is it really that insane? Is it really that crazy that you ended up in an area where there are more staff than guests?
Those cops are not getting paid enough to listen to his bullshit. Just one time, I want to see a cop just pull out a taser and just hit it on the maximum setting and just one time. I will be the happiest man on the face of the earth if that happens. Just break out the fucking just break out the taser, dust it off, hit it on the max settings, and shoot him and tase him in the balls. It's not like he's gonna use them anyway.
I feel like that makes a lot of sense.
Jack? Dory, is that you?
Sir.
What are you doing here?
Not sure.
Not sure. What the fuck does that mean, Jack? This guy's on, like, Christian Berger's level of dealing with police. What do you mean you don't know? You're at a fucking golf tournament and you don't know why you're there? It's like the second any of these guys have to have a thought outside of streaming, their brain just shuts down.
Just, join the Waste Management.
Don't do this, all right?
Sure.
We know exactly what you're doing here. Don't play this game with me, okay? We know exactly what you were doing. So the result of that, we're trespassing you.
come back here again before this tournament's over, you'll be arrested, and then you'll go through that whole process.
Sure.
In addition to that, I'm trespassing you from all future PGA Tour tournaments. If you show up at a PGA Tour tournament again, you'll be arrested. Do you understand that?
Forever? For life?
Can you imagine spending $100 to get banned from something for life? I don't know why that's so funny to me, but I feel like this would be like a lot less painful if he just yelled jackass himself. But the idea of him spending $100 to get somebody else to yell something that he was too scared to do himself and receiving a lifetime ban for it is hilarious. Especially so if he's not putting on an act and he really thought he couldn't get in trouble for this.
For the foreseeable future, until you and I can work this out.
This is what happens when you raise your kids in an environment where they're never allowed to deal with the consequences of their fuck-ups. I've probably said that more times than I care to remember, but it's just the cold, hard reality. Like, if I did this at any age, my dad would actually whip my ass on live. And if I were to do this at my current age, my dad would rise from his cremated ashes to whip my ass on live. Because that's the kind of dad I had.
How do we work this out then? Because I love golf, I don't want to be banned forever. So
I highly doubt you have the attention span to golf, to play golf. In other words, Fafo, very much so. I seriously doubt you have the attention span to manage to manage getting through a game of ping pong or even beer pong.
how about we find a positive way out of this too, so it's not just a negative result?
A positive way out of this would be tasering you in the nuts, so you can't reproduce and spread your retardation among the rest of the fucking population.
We're done with this discussion.
All right, cool. Then we're done. I'll leave. I don't care. Thank you so much. I'll take my ID back. Thank you, sir.
You can literally watch this guy's brain work in real time. He's like, okay, maybe I can manipulate my way out of this because I'm used to being able to do that. And once this guy doesn't immediately fold and is like, yeah, you know what? Actually, you can come back into the tournament right now. Hell, we'll let you hit one off the tee box. Like, as soon as he doesn't do exactly what Jack wants him to do, he shuts down and goes back to his normal behavior. It's just pathetic.
See you when I'm done.
I'm done. Thank you.
When we're done.
All right, cool.
You can have it back. Do you have any questions?
I don't. Thank you, sir. I'll take my ID. Thank you. It's cool. Yeah, thanks. All right, goodbye.
Goodbye, get fucked. Stay fucked.
Mr. Steve, just so you know, nobody my age gives a fuck about golf besides me. I don't give a fuck that I can't go to a boring golfing event for the rest of my life.
How this guy ever, and I mean ever, got a following is genuinely so far beyond me that I just don't think I'll ever understand it. This guy behaves like a movie stereotype spoiled child, just screaming and crying and throwing a fit whenever he doesn't get his way. And not even in a way that makes sense. Nobody your age except you gives a fuck about golf, Jack. Pretty sure right now golf is more popular amongst younger demographics than it has literally ever been. Also, I find it hard to believe that you truly don't care about, quote, boring golf events when it looked like you were about to cry when you were told that you were banned. Like, come on, man, just be a grown-up about shit for once. It's really not that hard, and once you start doing it, guess what? Shit like this basically never happens to you. It's like magic. Well, guys,
I mean, it's near impossible when you've been acting like a 12-year-old for the last decade and change. Because that's his entire brand. His entire brand is pretty much predicated on him acting the exact same way he did when he started doing online content. Like, that's the only reason anybody maybe watches him, is because he still acts like he's acting like a 12-year-old in his 20s. Which, the fact that neither of his parents ever stepped in, like, actually properly stepped in to be like, no, this is not the way you're going to manage yourself if you're going to put yourself out there, is really telling. Frankly, if I were a parent, my kids would not be allowed access to any form of social media or online streaming until they reach adulthood. But that's just me. I haven't gotten a headache this bad since Wing of Redemption made a gross comment about the age of consent. Ugh! Ugh. All I have to say about about Wings' comment there is...
Take a big step back and literally fuck your own face!
That's what we were both saying when we saw that clip.
Guys, what are your thoughts? Like I said, I don't know how this guy ever got an audience, and I honestly don't know how he's still holding on to one, but it really does just get to a point where you have to wonder, like, who is watching this? Are they real people? Are they all just like government agents watching these streamers, backing them up, propping them up, so they can continue to disrupt our society? That almost makes more sense than thousands of people actually being able to stomach this guy's personality.
I think it's Chinese bots fucking with us. I think it's Chinese bots trying to promote the dumbest among us, so it'll weaken us it'll weaken American society into a state of permanent retardation and leave us wide open for an invasion. That's what I think is going on. There's your tinfoil hat for the day.
For multiple hours. I would say I feel like this is the last time I'm going to talk about the guy, but unfortunately, I know that's probably not true. I'm sure that in 6 to 12 months, he'll do something stupid enough that gets me to fire up the microphone, so looking forward to it, Jack. See ya.
Page from Charlie and didn't overdo the outro. This video I have seen. Razor Fist with the top 5 turds of 2025. Hold on to your groins. This is going to be a bloodbath.
Hey, did you enjoy Oblivion?
No, I'm not so sure.
Well, what about Oblivion but boring and black?
This is bullshit.
And hey, what if instead of compelling companions and side quests, what if instead of a gladiatorial arena or dipshittedly dedicated fan following your ass around, you were instead perpetually flanked by a coven of coastal commies whose personal tales and travails always and inevitably terminate in an admission of the orifice they prefer to park their pee-pee in?
He spent most afternoons with me. The problem is, I'm a coward, Envoy.
Faggot. God. Huh, who would have thought the guy with scales wouldn't like the taste of fish? But even without the pooper posse until Avowed would be a bigger shit show than Amber Heard's bedspread. From moon bounce movement to feature-deficient role-playing and a story that should have caved our skulls clean in as it inhabits the self-same universe as the excellent Pillars of Eternity series, but instead reads like a D&D 5e fanfic. Avowed redefines disappointment. Not necessarily in the donkey punch to the back of the brain manner of some of the titles to come, but in a more irksome manner by miles. Mediocrity where excellence once tread. The worst thing about Avowed is we all wanted it to be good. First-person CRPG pillars should have been the chromium-plated titties. But while enduring Avowed, in amongst the dated 2020 George Floyd fantasy politics and your companion's predilection for penis, at some indeterminate point, something infinitely more disconcerting occurred. Here I was, wandering around a Walmart brand Morrowind, swinging a sword with the raw killing power of a foam noodle at a pool party, when it hit me like the van of peace on the London Bridge. 8 hours in, and I have yet to tender the first fiddler's fuck! And why would I, given the paint-buying numbnuts plot? Like, did I miss a meeting where every solitary story in modern games is legally required to revolve around a plague? Were Tief and Dishonored 2 such sky-smashing sales successes that every game with a budget bigger than $1.50 has to ham-fist a pseudo-story about a bunch of beleaguered peasants coming down with a cold? I mean, who wants to envoy your ass around uncovering eldritch mysteries in the living lands when you can fetch a rasher of Robitussin for some fucker with a face full of toadstool spores? Compared to the branching narrative paths of Pillars, where your choices matter more than a politician's promise, or Elder Scrolls Facsimile of Freedom, where the role-playing is out to lunch but you can bone down with a bovine if the mood so strikes you, Avowed's narrative is as narrow as it is narcoleptic. Sure, it's pretty, and on paper all the pieces are here for a fantasy saga par excellence, but when the band actually starts up, you'd see more soul in Brock Lesnar's cornrows. Is it the most offensive, unctuous piece of shit ever shat? Probably not, but if I were given it a report card, it'd have more C's than a Mexican porno. Next!
We're still on the first game. First one got it. I love that last one. Hold on.
Cornrows. Is it the most offensive, unctuous piece of shit ever shat?
The most offensive, unctuous piece of shit ever shat, and it's a picture of Destiny.
Oh, and Brock Lesnar's cornrows. Is it the most offensive?
It's a picture of Destiny with the face pixelated out.
Unctuous piece of shit ever shat? Probably.
Probably not. Candace Owens. I need to watch this guy again outside of her stream. You really do. Dude, Razor can be so goddamn brutal, and I love it.
Not, but if I were given it a report card, it'd have more C's than a Mexican porno. Next!
Dude, Razor's review of Destiny was vicious. Tales of the Shire. This was a goddamn goat fuck.
Lord of the Rings games are more cursed than a Christian medallion. After a few admirable efforts in the early PC and 16-bit era, such as the excellent SNES RPG and a superb slab of hack and slashery, The Two Towers, this franchise hit the skids harder than Paul Walker. Conquest! War in the North! But enough about Greenland, and let us not neglect a game that if we'd had...
Thought we meant the political streamer. Oh... We were talking about the political streamer, but my brain done tooted itself.
You are made of stupid.
Yes, I am. Yes, apparently I am. Although, if you haven't seen Razor Fist's review of Destiny, the video game, you absolutely should.
Conquest! War in the North! Oh, such as the excellent SNES RPG and a superb slab of hack and slashery, The Two Towers, this franchise hit the skids harder than Paul Walker. Conquest! War in the North! But enough about Greenland, and let us not neglect a game that if we'd had a list that year, doubtless would have topped all turddom. Lord of the Rings, Gollum, a game that bombed harder than Maduro's mansion and took Daedalus' entire development division with it. But 2025 laid the greatest goose egg of them all, a game so god-awful, so offensive, so backbendingly boring, you could almost confuse it with the Rings of Power. But the betrayal bites down all the deeper because it came from none other than Weta Workshop, the very same Kiwi kings responsible for the staggering visual achievement of the original Lord of the Rings trilogy and all that other shit nobody deigned to watch. Hence, no matter how obvious it was this game was going to be bullshit cubed, no matter that it had the worst art design this side of a Fur Affinity fan wank, and even being blatantly obvious it was crapped out during COVID, meaning this game was quite literally phoned the fuck in, gamers still cut him a benefit of the doubt check so big a Somali daycare couldn't cash it. And worst of all, they weren't alone. In early previews of the game, Corpo Journos, doubtless having suitcased all the ad cash they could keister, were unremittingly effusive. Tales of the Shire is the Hobbit game the cozy genre was always meant to have, IGN blatantly bullshat. Sure, kid, if by cozy you mean audibly begs to be suffocated by a James Sunderland hug pillow, Tales of the Shite is a lifeless life sim, a cavernously crap crafting game, and an RPG with no R, precious little P, and a G that stands for Jesus! In a hole in the ground, there lived the Lord of the Rings franchise. Between this bullshit and we was rangs and shit, how's about we fucking keep it there? Next!
Your comments aren't posting twice, Kaysen. Not in the stream chat. They are. Two Towers and Return of the King remakes win, Dude, if only EA could get the rights to do a good remaster. And maybe remaster some of the early Harry Potter games while they were at it. Oh, your comment about the rings, about the remakes showed up twice on the TV. Well... Okay, well that must be that's probably a goof up on YouTube TV's part because they didn't. It's only showing up once in the chat on my phone.
Rings, give it all, yeah, rings, give it all.
Stop me if you've heard this one before. Designer with all but canonized sainthood among game developers promises every feature under the yellow sun and a fair few under the fucking red one. The impossibly open-ended experience will furnish a sprawling cyberpunk topia, he insists, steeped in neon, boasting bottomless Blade Runner vibes and deeper immersion than a Ted Kennedy dinner date.
Will Ted Kennedy ever become president?
I love the fact that Ted Kennedy, that Razorfist refuses to stop sending strays in Ted Kennedy's direction. It's never going to get old. I just loved it.
Oh, I guess not, eh, kids?
A $500 million budgetary toilet flush later, surprise! It's GTA, but shit. Whoops! Better get cracking on the anime and Idris Elba DLC, Dick Shaft. Misdirected by ex-Rockstar vet Leslie Benzies, whose last name sounds like the drugs he was doing while making it. Mind's Eye is what happens when you crank out a clone of Grand Theft Auto, hold the Grand Theft and the Auto. Folks, it's the Vice City Cyber Slop edition. From the near-complete lack of carjacking to the outright removal of the wanted system. You know those soporific sequences sandbox games are stuffed with where between missions you slow drive to an interminably blinking waypoint, listening to some suntan gay girl boss forcibly recite the plot of the game stretching back to the formation of the fucking universe? Yeah, well, Mind's Eye is what happens when an asshole makes an entire game out of that. The thinly veiled Vegas allegory of Red Rock is a glitch-addled ghost town. People with crab-walking NPCs shuffle fucking in front of your car and phase it into the fucking pavement. In other words, a thinly veiled Vegas allegory. And not unlike the real Vegas, its exteriors vacillate between the backbending boredom of all but abandoned street scenes and out-of-town topography more litter box than sandbox. But hey, at least all the interiors have the antiseptic sci-fi dentist's office look that got old when Ann Coulter was young. Granted, it's had more patches than a hipster's favorite pair of boyfriend jeans, but if sanding some edges off solved the problem, how do you explain Laura Loomer's jawline? Lifeless, feckless, and now penniless, Mind's Eye lost a reported $100 million for publisher IO Interactive, who at this point may as well legally rename themselves Stick to Fucking Hitman. If you love Saints Row and GTA, play Sleeping Dogs. It's better than both, bitch. If you want a $60 tech demo with a frame rate of a graphing calculator, a cast stack with broccoli-haired pronoun people, and a protagonist who looks like he owns all the DLC for Boyfriend Dungeon, run, don't walk, to the pharmacy to refill your fucking medication. Next.
Oh, which really sucks because the early trailers for Mind's Eye actually looked pretty sweet. I mean, yeah, it looked basic and generic, but it was a new title, new in giant Dr. Evil air quotes. And it was coming from IO Interactive. Finally, a new IO Interactive game that isn't Hitman. But between that and some of the early shit we're hearing about the new James Bond game they're cooking up, I have some reservations. I think Razor Fist is fully in the right to say they should just rename themselves Stick to Fucking Hitman. Excuse me. Sorry, that's very gross. I just ate before I did this. We was assassins and shit.
When I heard Assassin's Creed Shadows would finally be set in Japan, I naturally assumed the shadows would be burned into the sidewalk. But what hit Japan turned out to be bigger than Nagasaki, and in the aftermath, the only unconditional surrender would be Ubisoft to the communist Chinese. After over a decade of the CCP stooges at Tencent lodging their worm tongue up the butthole of the board at Ubisoft, insisting on ESG policies and other sundry pinko bullshit that's banned back in Beijing, by the way, with Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Isn't that interesting that burned into the sidewalk is wild? Dude. And that's not even the wildest thing he has said in this entire goddamn video. Although, isn't it interesting that China funds all of these, China, the Chinese government finances all these ESG and DEI initiatives in the West, the stuff that is actively suffocating and killing Western entertainment media, but ESG and DEI is completely banned over in China, where the ESG money originates from. Rather insert a copy of Concord into my Xbox and watch it shit itself. Oh, trying to dumb us down and make us fight from within. Well, unfortunately, it's fucking working. Hey, China, look at me. Look into my eyes.
You look lonely. Why don't you give me a hand job?
Just putting that out there.
Sundry pinko bullshit that's banned back in Beijing, by the way, with Assassin's Creed Shadows, it appears Ubisoft have at last succumbed to death by 1,000 cucks. Make no mistake, even going into this game, the Assassin's Creed series suffered from an identity crisis worthy of Prince. I've said it so many times I ought to have it printed on a fucking shirt, but the only thing worse than a bad game nobody buys is a bad game everyone does. It's no accident the seismic success of the professionally fucking rushed Assassin's Creed 3 was followed by a slow, severe decline which eventually culminated in a complete Control-Alt-Delete of the damn series with Origins and Odyssey. And while Viking Vajayjay Sim Valhalla made more money than Ben Shapiro's Adderall salesman, it was also a game that wanted to do about 100 different things except be an Assassin's fucking Creed game.
Isn't that the case with every Assassin's Creed game that has followed the second one? Like, honestly, I feel like this franchise probably should... I feel like every game that has come out since 2 has tried so hard to be everything except what Assassin's Creed was originally supposed to be, which was an open-world stealth 'em up with emphasis on Prince of Persia-style platforming. I was literally playing AC3 Remaster recently. I need to play the first one. I have the director's cut of the first one in my GOG account. I need to play that one. Now it goes through. Yeah, which is... Yeah, I don't... That was a text-to-speech error. Turn your text-to-speech off. We're going to have another incident of you yelling at your dog into the chat.
Building to romance to raids, it was a kitchen sink time sink with a runtime so long it's less a video game than a life choice. It was pleasantly surprising as such for the follow-up Assassin's Creed Mirage to be the first game in an eon to actually feel like a fucking Assassin's Creed game.
But it's comedy. That is true. That is very true.
But if the 12 remaining longtime fans expected Ubisoft to pull on that particular thread, they evidently forgot it was attached to a tampon. Even without the world-smashing wokeness, even if it hadn't ham-fistedly turned the game into Kunta Kinte Creed, even without an understanding of Japanese history that's shakier than the Fukushima fault line, Assassin's Creed Shadows would be a deliberately misguided muddlefuck, mainlining every lamentable AC cliche accrued in the Odyssey cum Valhalla misadventure. In short, it's yet another Assassin's Creed caper, much more interested in being the worst Witcher 3 than being an excellent Assassin's Creed. Time to phone up Altair and Ezio, my friends. Only they can give this beleaguered, beshitted series what it so desperately requires. A hidden blade to the brainstem.
Requiescat in pace, you bastard. I don't think so.
Ubisoft, very much so. Just from the previews I saw, it looked like a shittier Ghost of Tsushima. And Ghost of Tsushima, I haven't played. To me, that just looked like the bonk sound of Dude, Razor Fist's editor is wild sometimes. Ghost of Tsushima I haven't played, but that game to me looked like a Ubisoft style open world game, but it had Sony's name affixed to it. And it's like Assassin's Creed really pisses me off, and especially Shadows. The whole thought of Shadows pisses me off because it's like all you have to do is be open world Tenchu with some Prince of Persia style platforming. That's literally it. Open world Tenchu mixed with platforming ripped clean out of Prince of Persia. Boom, there's your game. Yeesh. Thanks for reminding me I still need to play Vampire the Masquerade Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, because that is also, the first one at least, is on my GOG library. Whew. You're not prepared for the venom that he is about to spew on Bloodlines 2.
Holy shit! What the hell even happened here? You ever play a game so simultaneously hyped and hectored by dev drama, there's quite literally no physical fucking vector by which it could wind up remotely playable? But you fire that shit up anyway out of morbid curiosity? By way of preamble, allow me to concede the obvious. Shudlines 2 hadn't the beginnings of a chance. Greenlit, cancelled, uncancelled, recancelled, and finally affixed to an engine never for a moment actually intended to accommodate it, and the end result was an HD remaster of Vampire Swan Song with the name Bloodlines bolted to its asshole, exchanging the shadow skulking and world building of what we now affectionately refer to as Undead Deus Ex for a glorified corporate team building exercise with dialogue branches more prune than the Habsburg family tree and kung fu fagalunatry standing in for combat.
Clip that holy shit and send it to me. Send that to me. Send that line to me over Discord so I can remember to do that later, after the stream is over.
From fangs to phallus, we covered every inch of this Asperger's symphony in my shameless plug. Full review of the AirSats RPG at issue, but the most impressive aspect of what will doubtless go down as a mammoth of monetary insolvency is also one I failed to sufficiently emphasize at the time. From the original team being brought back on, then inauspiciously shit-canned, to the slow implosion of publisher Paradox, the public's expectations were just low enough to still stand a full head taller than Nick Fuentes. Yet somehow, some way, by some ancient alchemy or satanic pact, Bloodlines 2 managed to outshit even that coprophagic expectation. In the absence of character sheets, blood points, and even a basic-ass inventory system, what remains is the shittiest choose-your-own-adventure book in the preschool library, edited by accountants and authored by a 10-man talent deficit who aims for edgy and lands on Linkin Park lyrics. But if you thought cutting out all the RPG features meant the remaining game would amplify and polish, keep reaching for that rainbow, Space Cowboy, because this game has more bugs than a Wuhan wet market, with none of the phase-through-the-floor affectionate allure of the original. In place of Bloodlines, the first quirky occasional bed crapping, mostly the sequel just crap. Like a lady driver in a blizzard, or a lady driver in the rain, or a lady driver under ideal conditions. Bloodlines 2 is a monumental monkey paw wish, except it wasn't until the first finger curled that we realized it was jammed up our ass. If you want a vampire RPG and don't mind it being more chatty than Robin Williams on Blow, play 2018's Vampire and leave the latest Bloodlines to immolate in the sun. 2025 was the year the AAA industry slammed bow first into an iceberg so hard even the hackiest NordVPN shillin' shitlet YouTube hype meister was cranking out the video game crash has arrived essays on an hourly basis. And welcome to the party I threw back in 2012, Autismo not. Yet even among this inglorious retinue, Bloodlines 2 is a generational gutfuck, a fitting capstone to an ignominious epoch.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man.
Surprised you haven't seen Black Ops 7. Honestly, Razor Fist has openly displayed contempt for the post-2007 Call of Duty series. This is Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2. Razor Fist has openly stated that he does not like Call of Duty, and he, as far as I can tell, has not played a new Call of Duty game since... I feel like the last one he reviewed was Black Ops 3, and he has not touched a new Call of Duty game on the channel since.
To an ignominious epoch.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
Good fucking riddance, 2025, and stay out. I'm Razor Fist. Godspeed.
Woo! Yep. 2025 was a good year for me to Amber Heard on.
Why, a good part of his present position at the Institute is due to your valuable research. And another thing.
You know, it never seemed...
What the fuck, Ray? What the fuck, Taryn? Taryn being Taryn Gale, Razor's editor. Okay. But yeah, like I said, I'm positive the last Call of Duty Razor Fist reviewed was Black Ops 3. So now we jump over to Oh No, It's Alex, with a new video regarding the 5-alarm goat fuck that is High Guard. Only good in it with zombies. I'll take your word for it. And we have Jeff Keighley on the Space Ghost TV in the background, so I wonder... Actually, I'm sure Alex is going to get around to I've seen this take on other people's channels, and let's just say there's a very good possibility Jeff Keighley is bought out by China. Which would not shock me.
You know, it never ceases to amaze me the amount of absolute lies that happen in the gaming industry, especially with what we saw yesterday, and even then, what we've been seeing in the past. Don't worry, go ahead and get out those tinfoil hats, because baby, we got a big one today. It turns out that so many things have been happening in the gaming space and being called out on, while everybody else who's an actual customer consumer, and dare I say even a gamer, has been being gaslit to hell and back every single time. Being called toxic, being called trolls, being called machuds, all in the space of trying to defend an actual industry that is doing nothing more than providing you nothing but slop on a consistent basis. And I think yesterday's news is going to absolutely prove it. And it's not just the fact that yesterday showed up a lot of issues with, especially on the Game Awards, but it shows a massive concern with what's happening right now in the gaming space itself.
Pro tip, if you're an indie dev, if you're a game dev, whether you cover indie or AA games, never, and the rock beans ever, go public. Never become a publicly traded company. Because you basically open yourself up to being at the unbending mercy of shareholders who don't give a fuck about you. They only want to make endless profit off of you, and they will milk you dry, shank you in an alley, and leave you to wither away in the filth and shit as they go off to the next hapless weasel. Shareholders are parasites. And I wish they would get out of the entertainment industry because they have been a cancer on it for way too fucking long.
YouTubers, influencers, websites, gaming journalists, all going around and getting back pocket deals and getting told to promote something whether or not they like the product or not has been a massive concern. Hell, that's why 12 years ago we already had Gamergate, and now it turns out we're doing part 2, Electric Boogaloo. And I know people are going to be like, oh, he's going to go, he's going to be a chud. Look, I've never been political on this channel. I don't intend to be political. My entire point is the absolute insanity and lies and lack of transparency happening in the gaming space today. So do yourself a favor, ladies and gentlemen. Get out that tinfoil, make yourself that hat, because when you see how far this rabbit hole goes, you're going to be shocked about the entire thing. Because Wario64 on Twitter yesterday said this: GameFile reports that Tencent was the undisclosed lead financial backer of Wildlight Entertainment's Highguard.
Would you fucking know it? A quote-unquote, a massive asterisk indie dev cranking out a hero shooter was actually being bankrolled by the CCP.
Exposed, 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 exposed.
And before somebody says, but it's not the CCP, it's a company called Tencent. They're just based in China. There is no such thing as a privately owned business in China. Every single Chinese-based company is pretty much owned, operated, and at the unbending whim of the Chinese government. In other words, China bankrolled Highguard. Fuck you very much.
Oh, we're starting off with a bang now, aren't we? That's right. Remember when Jeff Keighley got on stage so happy and excited to talk about this brand new game that's going to change the industry, make everybody so excited? All the tweets talking about, like, you're going to owe me an apology. I can't wait to show you guys this game. Hell!
Of course, because Xi Jinping cut him a nice fat fucking check.
Oh, here's him even saying it himself.
Tonight, you're not only going to get the announcement of the game, but also your first look at the gameplay. I've played it, and after you see this trailer, I think you're going to want to as well. Welcome to Highguard.
Take every last ounce of Cool Ranch Doritos and Mountain Dew Code Red that you have in your house and shove them so far up your ass they come out of your fucking nose.
And it turns out that every single person that called this game out was absolutely 100% right on the money. We are literally seeing at this very moment in time a massive conglomerate corporation like Tencent secretly financially backing Jeff Keighley and Wildlight Studios and Highguard all at the same time to promote their own games. Ooh, man, it gets good and it gets even crazier because the problem is that Tencent's entire grubby claws are injected incredibly deeply into Jeff Keighley and every single promotion that he does. Don't worry, this is all going to make sense, and when it does, get that tinfoil hat ready.
And far too many avenues in the AAA gaming space, which is why honestly you should start pretty much playing only older retro games or indie games. Like actual indie games. Not this bullshit.
You see, because back in 2016 of November, Polygon wrote this article saying this: the Game Awards just found an extra 1.5 billion viewers. QQ, WeChat, and 10-cent news. Oh, are you picking up what I'm putting down? Are you reading what I'm writing? Are you catching what I'm throwing? Are you eating what I'm cooking? Oh yeah, it's gonna get real wild, because the article even tells us a lot more. So let's keep going. With the article from Polygon saying this: Chinese multimedia giant Tencent plans to air a live localized version of the show across the country using a number of platforms, including its instant messaging QQ and WeChat services. Those two alone have about 1.5 billion active users. The program will be translated live, and viewers in China will be able to vote on a special Fans' Choice Awards using the Tencent News app, with the winner announced during the global broadcast. The partnership between Tencent and show creator Jeff Keighley provides an interesting way for the games industry to access a market it has long struggled to address directly. Oh, we're just scratching the surface, baby. It's only just begun. That was 10 years ago, and ever since then, there have been insane issues happening with the Game Awards specifically. Have you ever noticed that every time a Fans' Choice or Player's Choice Award game comes up, and something like Wuthering Waves or anything that's partially owned by Tencent seems to either be nominated or in fact win the actual award? Really makes you think now, doesn't it? And also, isn't it very interesting as well that for the last few years, every time something occurs with Jeff Keighley, Tencent is somehow always involved. If you don't believe me, take a look at this. Here's Madam Savvy on Twitter saying this: if you're wondering where you saw these connections prior, think back to Gamescom 2024, and at the very same event, the winner of an award at the non-award show goes to none other than Tencent Games. Why? There is a pattern of behavior and gaslighting on, and we shouldn't trust them. Gamescom has an environmental portion where they give away the Sustainability Award, a whole segment dedicated to the UN, which is funded by mostly the USA. And if you don't remember, here is in fact the announcer talking about the Sustainability Awards, saying that the winner is in fact Tencent during Gamescom, which is in fact not an award show, where Brent Irvin, the vice chairman, literally got on stage and accepted an award at Gamescom. Oh, man, but we're not even close to being done yet. No, not at all. This entire thing gets even deeper and crazier because the involvement of Tencent into the actual Game Awards isn't truly known to the public, or it's kept around in secret and not truly advertised. Because remember a few years back, there was this entire segment at the Game Awards talking about how this one scrappy YouTuber was helping people go ahead and get jobs on the internet from the actual gaming industry that were laid off? Yeah, it turns out that that guy also worked for Tencent too. No, I'm not kidding. Jeff Keighley's The Game Awards honored Amir Sadvat as a folk hero for laid-off developers. In reality, he is a Tencent executive who runs a glorified unemployment list.
what does it say about his popularity that about his status that even I haven't heard of him? Although, in fairness, I don't ever watch the Game Awards because I refuse to watch industry award shows because industry award shows are just one gargantuan circle jerk. And if I wanted to see an entire hall full of self-indulgent reprobates endlessly 69ing each other, I'd go watch Eyes Wide Shut. The only pieces of the Game Awards that I ever give an ounce of a fuck about are reveal trailers, and I can always just watch those on YouTube the day after the show, which is why I never watch the Game Awards.
Don't let it all fool you, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. The entire time they presented this guy as some wholesome little dude who was just doing things on his own to help all these people get jobs. And in reality, he was being funded by one of the biggest conglomerate corporations on the actual planet. But you see, that's just a taste of the beginning if you really want to take a deep look.
Might dip out. Hey, if you gotta dip out, case, and it's all good. You know, if you end up not making it back for the rest of the stream, the VOD will be up. And at the very least, if you do, I'm going to be streaming until about 4 o'clock my time, or I guess 5 o'clock would be Eastern time. So yeah, if you gotta bounce, don't feel bad about it.
Look into this. And it turns out that there's more information according to IGN with the actual article and Steven Totillo's information talking about Tencent actually backing Wildlight Studios. You know, that little indie development team that was shunned away by big AAA to make the game they've always wanted to make, even though it was just a rehashed game of every other AAA stuff you've seen before already.
Need the distraction? You didn't miss anything, Case, and I was running my mouth, and then Alex is reiterating the point that Wildlight Studios was not. Yeah, while Highguard's devs are not a scrappy little indie dev team like Expedition 33's devs were, they were being bankrolled by the same people who are actively destroying entertainment in the West. China.
And everybody could smell it a mile away? Yeah. It turns out they weren't indie at all.
Don't do live service games apart from COD. I mean, you do more live service than I do because I don't play I don't play Warzone. Oh.
Here's what the article from IGN said. With the article from IGN saying this, Highguard, the free-to-play PvP raid shooter, announced at the Game Awards last year and released to preemptive criticism and mockery, only for most of its developers to be laid off just weeks after launch, was apparently financially backed by Tencent, according to a report.
Far 5 remakes multiplayer and cross-play. I mean, I know it's multiplayer because it's co-op. I don't know if it is. I assume it's crossplay because why would Capcom be stupid enough to not allow crossplay?
This comes from GameFile, which reports that the Chinese gaming mogul was the primary financial backer behind development Wildlight Entertainment, an arrangement that was not publicly shared by either company. Look, we're going to stop right here on the article because I want to be incredibly transparent and clear about this. The issue isn't the fact that Tencent bankrolled Wildlight Entertainment. No, that's not the actual problem.
The only live service games I play are Helldivers 2 and old school RuneScape. Hey, man, yeah. I've heard good things about Helldivers. I'm philosophically opposed to the concept of live service games, and I'm just not a multiplayer guy anyway. I'm philosophically opposed to the concept of games as a service, but that's just kind of me.
And I want to make that incredibly clear because a lot of the games that I play and the developers that I love and enjoy are literally either completely owned by Tencent or are financially backed by Tencent. Tencent has a 30% stake in Larian Studios, and they made Baldur's Gate 3 and Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2. On top of that, Grinding Gear Games is also 100% owned by Tencent as well. Yet they are still able to make the best ARPG on the market right now, and at the same time, still have massively popular and even great monetization practices as well. Digital Extremes is also owned by Tencent as well, and their game Warframe, from what everyone's been telling me, has some of the best monetization.
Yeah, I prefer single-player games. Only play those two. Seems like an interactive chat room. Hey, fair enough. You know, that's... We like what we like, and we play what we play. There is not a damn thing wrong with that.
Practices and content surplus people have been actually telling me. So clearly, just because something is backed by Tencent doesn't mean it is immediately bad or going to be incredibly predatory. The difference is whether or not those specific people and those specific developers are still able to have creative control on the kind of games they want to make. And clearly, this isn't the case with Wildlight Studios. They did not leave AAA to go ahead and make the game they've always wanted. They in fact left AAA.
You want this guy to take on DSP? Okay, so Alex does weekly reaction streams on Saturdays, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, and he has reacted to a few DSP videos on his. And there's a second channel for Alex has an editor named Josh. We've featured some of Josh's videos on the channel before. Where he'll take clips from Alex's streams and sometimes repost them, or sometimes he'll do like funny edits to them. And Alex, after the stream, I'll drop a link to Josh to the Alex stream. Highlights channel in Discord for you, Kason, so you can check it out yourself. But he has roasted DSP on live before.
To get financial backing, pretend they were an indie game studio, and then use the guise of being indie to then sell you a product as if it's their life's work and their passion project that they've always wanted to make. When in reality, they've always been part of the market, they were being financially backed, and they were lying to your face, and so was Jeff Keighley.
And the entire some guy's videos on Cyrax. I'll see if I can save one of Kai's more recent videos on Cyrax for tomorrow's stream. Where was I going? Oh yeah. Everybody knew something felt wrong with High Guard. Everybody who saw the reveal trailers for High Guard knew that it's like, dude, this game doesn't look good. This game looks like another hero shooter. Everybody's bullshit detector was shooting up into the stratosphere. And the fact that High Guard went from 100,000 players, almost 100,000 concurrent players in its first day, to a 90% drop the day after launch pretty much tells you exactly what you need to know about that. Pretty much told you everything you needed to know about that game, which it didn't help that people couldn't get out of the it didn't help matters that people were stuck in loading screens for so long that they couldn't even get into the goddamn tutorial. Toy Story 5 trailer just dropped. Dude, I'll be honest, I haven't even watched Toy Story 3. I think that one dropped when I was in high school, and I was just like, why would I was just like, no, we don't need a third one. Make something else. So, but, yeah.
with the article saying this: prior to this report, it was unclear who was funding Wildlight, despite Highguard seemingly being in development for a number of years prior to its announcement at the Game Awards in December. Its official LinkedIn page has long included the line that Wildlight is a, quote, a new fully funded entertainment studio. It remains unclear how heavily reliant Wildlight was on Tencent, or whether a decision to pull funding was made at some point that led to the mass layoffs. Wildlight's future as a studio also remains unclear, with the studio statement saying that it would retain a, quote, core group of developers to keep Highguard going. However, the game's website went offline earlier today and has yet to be restored, leading some to speculate that the game, or even the studio, is about to be fully shut down. And you know what? They're not wrong, because at the time of this recording, the website is in fact still offline. And even then, when you go to Wildlight Studios' own website, there's basically nothing there. Just an entire contact us page and nothing else in between. An entire barren ghost town. And here's the reason why I'm so incredibly upset about the entire thing. Not because Tencent was backing a company like Wildlight, no. It's the fact that people like Jeff Keighley got on stage, stammering, stuttering, shedding a tear for the developers, talking about how great this game is going to be, putting them at the last spot, giving them the entire like, oh, we're going to support you guys, when in reality they were nothing more than a corporate plant. Literally, the meme of Jeff Keighley being that corporate plant is entirely real. And I can even go farther than that, because every single person, influencer, YouTuber, game journalist that showed up on this highlight reel being flown out to the Highguard Studios to go ahead and play the game and then shill for the actual product the entire time are nothing more than corporate plants themselves. They're literally paid and bought for by the gaming industry, and they call you toxic, they call you chuds, they call you horrible, they call you all these things to gaslight you into believing that you are not seeing what in fact you are seeing. And when you call them out, they get incredibly defensive about it. It's almost like you're hitting the nail on the head every time you do so.
This guy looks like my sophomore history teacher. Your sophomore history teacher looked like a Cuban Ben Affleck? Oh. Yeah. This is one of those reasons that I'm extremely wary of of a lot of new games coming out, especially under a AAA banner, and especially because especially if they're being shilled by. Okay, if Jeff Keighley is shilling for it, just instantly disregard it. Like, don't even contemplate wishlisting it. The shit that Jeff Keighley throws his support behind, just absolutely not. The guy is... I mean, all these people, all these corporate plants and all these corporate shills want to call us toxic. Jeff Keighley is the only toxicity that I see. First he killed GameTrailers.com. First he killed GameTrailers.com, and now he's just he's just killing the games industry in general.
Just another parasite.
Oh yeah, I dropped the JC Denton line. I mean, the John Wick game does... Let's see. Requiem's the only one I'm looking forward to, and MGS Collection 2 and John Wick. Yes, absolutely. All three of those are looking really good.
And I want to go even further with this as well, because remember that entire Joshi Poo guy on Twitter that made that super incredibly cringe article online on X talking about how, oh, I had to leave AAA to get away from all the horrible things that happened. Well, it turns out his account was deactivated. I wonder why. And it's even worse because I was able to get snippets of what he actually said. And when you see this news and what was said, things can make a lot more sense.
Uh-oh.
Many of Wildlight's former devs will now be forced to assimilate back into the actual corporate industry. Many gamers accused Wildlight of being a part of. Now, every time someone thinks about leaving the golden handcuffs behind in favor of making it a multiplayer game, the indie way, they'll say, quote, "But remember how gamers didn't even give Wildlight a chance? Soon, if this pattern continues, all that will be left are corporations, at least in the multiplayer space. Innovation is on life support." Oh, the lies, the lies, the lies, the lies. It's always the lies. Literal corporate plants. That Joshi Poo guy was trying to tell you how they were this struggling indie studio, you guys. We had no real backing. We weren't part of the industry. We're not a plant, we swear. Yet in the background, they're being funded by Tencent secretly with nobody else knowing. And the one thing they did instead of actually blaming themselves is they turned around and blamed you. I just blame the gamers! We're the problem, apparently. Not the corporate interest, not the fact that you were, in fact, an industry plant, not the fact that you had Jeff Keighley in your side and in your pocket as well, and you used 10-cent money to fund your studio and claim to be indie.
Never underestimate the gaming community's capacity to immediately sniff out bullshit. Because we've been doing it pretty much our entire lives. You don't have to twist our arms to get us to tell you to fuck off. We have been doing it. We were taught to do it quite literally from childhood. And inevitably beat RE9 before next Sunday. I don't plan on spoiling it for you. Like Marines and Stolen Valor. Dude, like Veterans and Stolen Valor in general.
It can't get any sweeter now, can it, ladies and gentlemen? I submit that it cannot. This is going to be the biggest fall for the Game Awards and the Jeff Keighley that we've honestly ever seen. The entire industry is literally being bankrolled by just a few companies. And if it doesn't pass the sniff test, you're probably right. The majority of the time when you see something that is just basically corporatized, sanitized, not provided any sort of new style at all to it, or just...
That's what he meant to say. Hey, you're fine, dude. I completely get it.
Giving you the same exact slop you've played before, more than likely, they're in fact being backed by a massive conglomerate corporation and being passed off to you as indie. And I love my gaming brethren right now because everybody who saw this coming knew exactly what it was. Corpo slop. And we all called it out from the very beginning. And anyone who stood in your way should be looked at. Twice, side-eye basically. And the thing is, it's going to keep getting worse though, because now they know the entire thing has been exposed, their plans brought to light, and they're going to get even better while doing it, sadly. Because the reunion on Twitter said this: "I'm telling you, these award shows are not what they seem. It's a fun little show and tell for those in the industry. A giant LinkedIn, if you will, showing a picture of the actual people on the board of advisory, which include the senior vice president of Tencent, Stephen Ma, and CEO of Ubisoft, Yves Guillemot." And Kelsky on Twitter
Gigabash is an indie, non-corporate game. It doesn't get DLC as often as those backed by corporations, but still, it's an actual passion project game. Well, that's good. Let's just say there's a reason I primarily play retro games and indie titles, and like actual indie titles on this channel.
Also says this: "So then all that stuff Jeff Keighley talked about for Highguard's announcement, the power of indie studios and self-publishing, you know, the little guys pushing the industry forward, yada yada, all just bullshit, Lamau." That's right, my brother in Christ. That's exactly what it is. All complete bullshit. Everything that they're telling you, everything Jeff Keighley's ever said has been an absolute lie. Everything in the gaming industry has been nothing more than, in my opinion, a massive money laundering scheme. Ever wonder why all those games came out broken, buggy, full of issues and problems, or a really horrible art style, or even not catering to gamers? Don't forget the 12-year-ago promise of gamers don't have to be your audience anymore.
With development budgets upwards of $100 or $200 million, like Spider-Man, like Insomniac Spider-Man 2's budget was somewhere in the range of upwards of $300 million. It's ironic they added a Godzilla archetype character only for Toho to approach them and say, hey, you want a character in your game? And over 3 years later, the Godzilla DLC is still available to buy. Hey, that's a... In the immortal words of Bruce Banner...
I see this as an absolute win.
Oh...
It almost feels like the entire thing was literally doing nothing more than money laundering between game journos, influencers, and the gaming industry all themselves. This thing is on an entire house of cards, and it's getting worse by the actual minute, because the more this comes to light, the more this goes to show that people like Jeff Keighley are in fact part of the meme, the actual industry plant. Seeing as how Jeff Keighley worked with Tencent to get more viewers for his show in China specifically, seeing as how the SVP of actual Tencent is part of the board of advisory, seeing Jeff Keighley give awards to Tencent executives for no particular reason, tried to pass them off as the good guy or the little guys, is the real problem overall. They're trying to pull the wool over your eyes, and I swear to God I feel like a conspiracy theorist, but if you really want to take a gander about the entire thing, being a conspiracy theorist in 2026 is like having a 1,000 batting average. And again, I do not have a problem if a game company or developer or studio is being backed by Tencent or another major company and corporation.
I do. I have a few issues with that, because I feel that global governments should not be sponsoring or financing entertainment venues. That's just me. I feel like the entertainment space is one of many avenues that the government should never ever, and the Rock means ever, stick its fingers in. Sorry, No's reaction to that reveal trailer back in 2022. You're very, very right. Some of it just feels like propaganda, but that's just me. You aren't wrong. Some of it absolutely does feel like propaganda. And a lot of it is just to demoralize us and get us to accept slop. Which is never going to happen because the market will eventually correct itself. Because eventually people are going to get tired of the slop.
That's fine. I love Path of Exile.
I mean, why do you think the modern gaming industry and the modern film industry right now couldn't exactly sell shit to a swarm of flies? Eventually, people are going to get tired of eating shit. Like the universe James Gunn is trying to put together. Oh, dude, I could go on a goddamn rant for hours about everything I did not like about James Gunn's Superman.
It sucking fucks, it fucking sucks, it fucking blows, it's a piece of shit, and I don't like it.
I figured I'd just let James Rolfe summarize exactly how I feel about it.
GGG is owned by Tencent. That's not going to stop me from playing their game. What will stop me, though, is when they decide to change their perspective and how they monetize users or how they provide content. That's going to be the bigger issue. You see, a development studio can be backed by something like Tencent or have an indie publisher or a smaller studio, and that's perfectly fine. Nobody's going to care if the game is actually good. The problem is when you lie to the actual audience and you tell them you're indie, you're small, you're just a team trying to break away from AAA, and the game you make is nothing more than AAA slop with the literal focus and voice line given to you when you open the wrong colored chest in the tutorial of Highguard. Ooh, don't think I didn't catch that one. And then you turn around and blame the literal users who went ahead and played your game to 100,000 concurrent players, and you were the problem trying to blame the actual people who you wanted to go ahead and support you financially. That's where I have the issue. That's where the real problem becomes, and that's why this needs to keep happening. More of this needs to be brought to light, and the gaming industry has to face the repercussions of putting down industry plants and trying to gaslight actual gamers who want to go ahead and just give the fucking money to the studios and play a goddamn good game for about an hour and a half every night after going down to the goddamn wage cage. I'm incredibly sick and tired of this gaming industry. I'm honestly up to here with it, with the issues with AI, with the issues with everything else, the rising cost of games, the rising cost of hardware, equipment, consoles, PC parts, GPUs, SSDs, and RAM, making everything almost impossible, and the insane push towards having service online and having nothing and being happy. That's what really pisses me off the most. How every studio wants to be this AAA thing, give you this live service product, when in reality, you can only afford to have 1 or 2 live service games in your life at any specific time. And the thing is, what really gets the veins in my neck bulging and the blood pumping with my vascularity is that exact fact. It's the gaslighting that really sets me over the edge. Like the whole feeling of like, I'm not crazy. Am I crazy? What's going on with this? Why do I feel crazy? And that's literally exactly what this industry has been doing, using journalists, using influencers, using industry plants like Jeff Keighley to go through and force games down your throat when in reality they're being backed by companies like Tencent. It's incredibly shameful. It's honestly disturbing and truly goes to show that gamers themselves truly are some of the smartest people on the face of the earth, because we sniffed this out from the very beginning.
Disney's Town Toon Online. I never played Town Toon Online. I've only ever heard about it in passing, but no, I personally never played it.
We knew there was a problem, and we even made memes about it in a joking way, but in that jest was actually truth. Next time something feels fishy, that's because it probably is, and more than likely, they're being paid off because of it. But you know what? I want to hear what you guys got to say about this in the comments section down below.
Kason, you wrote Toontown the first time. You didn't write Town Toon the first time. Or did I say Town Toon? I said Town Toon. Oh, okay.
Look up idiot in the dictionary. You know what you'll find? Picture me? No! The definition of the word idiot, which you fucking are!
That's what happens when your brain when your mouth runs faster than your brain. You're fine, Jason. You're okay.
Did you expect this? Is this news to you? Or are you finally starting to wake up? And speaking of comments, here in fact is the comment of the day from yesterday's video. With 1X Ice X Viper X1 saying this: the problem is these corporations think that we're all horses and they're going to take us to the pond to drink and overcharge for everything, and we are not horses. Ice Viper, you are absolutely 100% correct, and they're going to keep trying to do this every single time. And
because they're all run by people who don't see all of these major companies are run by people who don't see us as individuals. They see us as numbers on a spreadsheet. So and they're not influenced by creativity and a basic understanding of humanity. They're influenced by algorithms. The numbers tell us this, the algorithms tell us this, so it should go this way. And they forget about the human factor, and that factor is human beings have a very strong bullshit detector. So if you pump out shit and people smell shit, chances are they're going to avoid the shit.
And like I said before, if it doesn't pass the smell test, well, baby, you're probably right. But with all that being said, if you want to see more of this kind of content though, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, and even live streams on this channel, subscribe. We're on our way to 109K. If you want Discord access or emotes during live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. If you don't want to spend the buck, don't worry. Just come on down Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the channel as I wear a banana suit and get insulted by AITTS. It's a hell of a show. You don't want to miss it. Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, live right here on the channel. With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you gooners next time. Peace!
Oh my lord. This one. We've got some Atozy for the stream today, because of course we do. This particular story concerns a TikTok squatter who was arrested for squatting in a $2.3 million mansion. Title says TikTok squatter goes back to $2.3 million mansion hours after released from jail.
Price check on jackass.
Oh, good job, Kason.
Alright, I'm now standing outside of the stolen $2.3 million home that Tamika Good has been, I guess, living in for pretty much a year. And she was actually arrested for living here. And you can't really see the house, but it's that house right there, that one. So this is the stolen $2.3 million house that Tamika Good is currently squatting in. That was the first time I ever used this flashlight. I literally bought it today. I did not know it was going to be that bright. I'm going to leave right now because I'm not trying to disturb this neighborhood. So, how did I end up traveling to Bethesda, Maryland to stand outside of a $2.3 million mansion that someone was just convicted of illegally living in? Well, I was essentially in the neighborhood covering up part 2 for this video, so that was just very convenient that they're like right next to each other. But a few weeks ago, Tamika Good was found guilty on all counts of trespassing and breaking and entering after spending 9 months living inside of a 7,500 square foot bank-owned mansion. And this absolute genius represented herself in court, so naturally the judge didn't really buy her arguments. So he then sentenced her to 90 days in jail. She was then arrested right there in the courtroom, and it actually felt like a solid ending because...
Jason! Turn off your text-to-speech! Turn off your fucking text-to-speech, dude!
Most of these squatter cases, they last forever, and they don't really have any real consequences. But I guess you could say that that one ending was a little bit too good to be true, because she served 11 days, posted a $5,000 appeal bond, and within hours of being released, she went right back to the same house.
Get off my face.
Ma'am, why are you in a $2.5 million property?
I keep my thumb off the screen when I'm not paying attention. Dude, squatter cases there need to be stricter punishments for squatter cases, I swear.
After months of delays, Good was convicted on all counts on January 22nd, sentenced to 90 days in prison. Pollard continues to face extradition for multiple vehicle theft-related crimes in Pennsylvania. 11 days later, Good was released on appeal on February 2nd after posting a $5,000 cash bond. Activities at the house starting again soon after her release. For days, a woman wearing similar shoes and green pants was seen moving in and out of the alleged Bethesda squatter home.
Are you serious? I can't believe this story is real. How do people have this little shame and are this brazen? So, security cam footage appears to show her go in and out of the property pretty much immediately after she got out. And just a quick recap, Tamika Good spent 9 months living inside of this mansion. And no, she's a squatter. She did not own it, nor did she rent it, nor did she have any permission to be there. The home was bank-owned and tied up in foreclosure issues, so more than likely she found out about that online, where that kind of information is publicly available. She then decided, oh wow, look at that, a free mansion, and she just helped herself to it. And I guess instead of treating it like a temporary situation, she treated it like it was hers, and she filmed TikToks from inside of the property and posted content with the mansion behind her like it was some weird lifestyle flex. So not only was she flexing a mansion she didn't own, but she was also pulling up to the mansion in a Porsche. So one would at least think, if you're driving around in a Porsche, you can afford your own housing. But this absolute genius described herself as a pro se litigation coach, meaning she represents herself in legal matters and gives advice to others in doing the same. So naturally, neighbors started noticing that something was extremely off here, and when nothing happened after reporting it to the police and
what's that age-old saying? He who represents himself has a fool for a client. So she's a moron, and she teaches other people to be just as retarded as she is. Speaking of mansions, when is Beanie Eyelash losing her mansion? I don't know, but that is a good question, considering it's on stolen land, and she claims that no one is illegal on stolen land. It's almost like she's a virtue signaling cunt who doesn't actually believe her own bullshit, like most of the rest of the entertainment industry.
Trying to go through all the proper channels, a 19-year-old college student named Ian Chen filed criminal complaints himself for trespassing and fourth-degree burglary. And that's what finally pushed this into court. So last month, Judge C. Moffitt found her guilty on all counts, which raises the question that genuinely does not make sense whatsoever. How do you go to jail for squatting in a mansion and then get out and immediately go back to the same mansion? Well, to explain that, we have to talk about the world of American law, which gets even more complex when every state has their own set of laws. So, it's all different. But apparently in Maryland, when someone is convicted in district court, they have the right to appeal that conviction to a higher court. So, in this case, we're in Maryland. So, there, when someone is convicted in district court, they have the right to appeal that conviction to a higher court. In this case, circuit court. And when you file an appeal, you can post what's called an appeal bond. And that's exactly what she did. She was sentenced to 90 days, and then she served 11. And once that bond is accepted, the sentence is basically paused while the appeal moves forward. So that means the 90 days aren't fully erased, it's just essentially on hold. So now, her case is being moved to the circuit court, where they will now have a new pretrial conference on March 6th. So, legally speaking, she's not done with the case, it's still active. Which is insane, because if you remember from my last video on this, her case went on for 9 months already.
What's the status with the girl, the DoorDash girl? I'm actually not sure. I think she's still... I don't think she has been sentenced yet. We reacted to an update to an update on the case previously, but I've slept since then. So much stuff has happened since then. It's nearly impossible to keep track of everything. Must have good peripheral vision, because it seems the second I put a comment, you look down. I mean, my phone's literally right here. I don't think it's good peripheral vision on my part. I just see the chat move and I'm like, oh shit, somebody left a new comment. I mean, that's just me, I guess.
Before she actually served her grand sentence of 11 days in jail. So I mean, come on, this has gone on for long enough, but she's gonna keep delaying it because apparently she's professional at this. And I guess there's also just no real penalties for squatters either, so... But I feel like if you were already convicted of trespassing in a property and then you decide to return, shouldn't you automatically be removed from that property? One would think so, but apparently not. And that's because criminal charges and property possession, I guess, are just two different lanes in the legal system. So being found guilty of trespassing punishes the act, but it doesn't transfer physical control of the house back to whoever owns it. That part usually requires a separate civil process. And I guess when the property is bank owned, tied up in foreclosure, and sitting vacant, that process can move very slowly. So even though she went to jail, once she posted bond and appealed, the criminal sentence is just paused, but the physical occupancy issue is still a completely separate fight, which is just how you end up in this bizarre situation where someone can go to jail for squatting, get out on an appeal, and then return to the exact same property while the case continues. This is insane. But the sad thing is, in Maryland, squatting itself is not legal. But, and massive but here, if someone is inside a vacant property and there's no violent break-in happening in front of a police, officers can't call it trespassing, which still requires court proceedings. And once...
I'm sorry, I'm a little slow here. She is living in a piece of property that is not hers. She has signed absolutely no paperwork whatsoever. She didn't buy it. She's not paying a mortgage on it. She didn't rent it. She's just living in this vacant house that's tied up in foreclosure. How's that not fucking trespassing? Like, who set that law? Who's the dipshit? Who's the Dingleberry Jerry over in fucking Maryland who set that fucking law? And did they even bother to fucking sit down and think about how fucking retarded that fucking sounds? Or were they too busy fucking smoking bowls and ordering out Chinese food to actually fucking think for 2 fucking seconds? Retards. Retards everywhere, as far as the fucking eye can see.
Shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, tits, fart, turd, and twat.
Insert the buzz in what do you mean exactly, Kason?
Someone has been physically living in a home, even unlawfully, removing them still usually requires going through an eviction process, which includes a whole list of things like notice to quit, court filings, a hearing, a warrant of restitution, sheriff removal, and so on and so on. This is just a massive pain in the butt for everyone in this neighborhood, because as a neighbor there, you have no idea what's going on in this house. And as we also found out, she was living with another dude who had a warrant for his arrest, and he was also arrested the same time as her. So, I mean, this is just a massive legal hold that she's taken advantage of. Not to mention, she's living inside a mansion with lights on, water running, and packages being delivered. Because if utilities were already active at minimum service levels, which is common for vacant properties, because, you know, you don't want mold in your property, so you kind of need to run the AC at least. So, she might have not even needed to turn on the power in the first place, so she's probably stealing the power as well. So I guess all of us normal people who don't go out and steal properties, we have to pay for the record high power bills, but she might not even have to. But I mean, even if she had to pay for the utilities are like billing relationships and not really title verification systems. It's not like you're registering a car where you need to prove that this is actually your place or your car or your property. In theory, someone can just be inside the house, they can appear established, and they can just receive mail. So from there, they can pay utility bills. And until a court process fully plays out, law enforcement can't just override that without orders. And even though I hate this thing is still going on, I'm definitely interested to see how it plays out in court. Because the first time around, she represented herself. But now, she has a lawyer. And he doesn't seem, how do I put this? He doesn't seem like the best attorney.
We spoke with Alex Webster about his client.
How would your client, Ms. Tamika Good, get inside a $2.3 million property?
Cut. I don't know if I can answer that. Allegedly. Can I cut? We're rolling.
We're rolling, my friend. Yeah.
Well, Miss Good did her research. She found out that a certain property was under the control of a certain group and that there was a title issue. Due to the title issue, she was able to assume the property under squatters' rights.
So, in Maryland, there isn't a particular squatter right. Am I missing something?
Well, it's not a particular squatter's right, but it's known as squatter right.
Why would you take that interview?
I think I just went from autistic to full retard. It feels like I just went to full retard.
You went full retard, man. Never go full retard.
I can actually feel myself getting dumber watching that clip. I think I just forgot what 60 divided by 3 is. If my brain shits any harder, it's going to come out of my nose. So let's just move on.
So, that's attorney Alex J. Webster III, and I can honestly say that she might have been better off representing herself after seeing that. Like, what is going on here, guys? Like, come on, if I hadn't spent all this time looking into this case and verifying everything, I would think this is a parody. How is this not a parody, honestly? Because if this wasn't real, this would have been an amazing comedy sketch. But I guess what her new lawyer is helping her argue is that there's no evidence that she broke in. They're saying the
What did you miss, Kason? You missed the fact that her lawyer, this woman represented herself in court the first time, but now she's got herself an attorney, and he might actually be dumber than her, like to the point where she might have been better off representing herself. I'm not going to play the video again because I don't want to end up with an IQ of 40. I'm pretty sure my IQ has already hit room temperature levels. But the VOD will be up, so you can see it for yourself. Holy fucking shit.
title issues created confusion and that legal loopholes played a role in how residency was claimed. Come on! She knows it's not her house. She knows she didn't sign a lease agreement. She knows she didn't buy the house. Let's be real here. Also, if she's living by herself and with one other dude who had a warrant for his arrest, why do they need 7,500 square foot? That is a nightmare amount of house just to upkeep. Well, to be fair, she's a squatter, so she's probably not doing any upkeep. But regardless, you don't just like accidentally wander into a foreclosed property, change the locks, furnish it, and film TikToks from the inside.
That's not exactly an oopsie poopsie, it's more of a fucky wucky.
And LARP like it's your own house for nearly a year. This is crazy. This is so brazen and shameless. Like, how are you not embarrassed about doing this? And then on top of that, she was convicted and then she appealed the conviction on the basis of, well, there's no evidence of a break-in. Are you serious? So here's where all this stands right now. She's out on a $5,000 appeal bond. Her case is now in early March, and until the appeal is resolved, the 90-day sentence is essentially paused. And in the meantime, what you're watching unfold is the gap between criminal court and property enforcement. Either way, this is moving so much slower than what it should, and way slower than what the neighbors are comfortable with. But I guess that's just going after her plan. But regardless, I'll keep you guys updated on the story, so feel free to subscribe if you're new, drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in tomorrow's video. Peace.
Welcome back, ladies.
Oh my lord. So we go from one retard to an ensemble of retards. I think this is going to be the video that closes out the stream today. I don't remember if I featured him on the channel before, but this is Joe Santagato with a series called Idiots of the Internet. I feel like I'm gonna... I hope my IQ stays steady.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone's favorite series, Idiots of the Internet. Haven't done one of these in a while. Brought it back from the dead. Let's go. Sweet.
2 or 3 years ago, you may be right about that.
Sweet slavery. All right. Well, hot back
what?
From the dead. Let's go. Sweet and slavery. All right. Well, hot start. 2 words that probably shouldn't be in the same sentence ever. Although I will say...
Sweet and slavery. You tried. You did try. Just got your words horrifically fucked up. People at Walmart, well, I may have reacted to that a while back. You may be right about that.
That does look very sweet and tasty. Nothing about that is screaming slavery, thank God.
Also, that's not a sweet and savory thing anyway, right?
I don't even know what that is.
I'm going to be completely open and honest and brave here. I don't really know what savory means. Or when someone says something's very rich, I'm like, I don't even know how to describe that on my tongue. Like, I don't know what savory is.
Bargain bin Ryan Reynolds. You're not wrong.
No fucking idea what savory means. I know, like, the context clues, but I don't know. Unfortunately, I do know what slavery is, but I don't know savory. Today's special. Grilled salmon, mashed potatoes, and Asperger's. Only $9 for some neurodiverge.
Never mind the typo on special. Dude, Google is free. If you don't know how to spell a word, just look it up. He's clearly... Do we need to call in a wellness check? You know what, Jason? You probably should. You probably should. I'm gonna turn into Jim Carrey and Liar Liar, just kicking his ass in the restroom of the courthouse. I'm kicking my ass. Do you mind? Mashed potatoes and Asperger's. That's rich.
I mean, honestly, that seems like a steal. Usually, you gotta pay more for that type of.
Predator 2018 and them saying Asperger. That might be why they changed it.
Thing. All jokes aside,
that might be why they changed it from Asperger's to Autism Spectrum Disorder Level 1.
Grilled salmon and mashed potatoes, and we're only at $9. Where is this? You know what I mean? Sign me up. Due to unforeseen circumcisions, the dining room will be closed this evening. Sorry for the inconvenience. Open for takeout and delivery only. What I want to know is how you were able to spell inconvenience and not get circumstances, because inconvenience is basically impossible for me. That's one of those words that I just cannot spell at all, ever.
Just look at the camera, spell it. Don't look at the TV. Just straight at the camera.
Inconvenience? Yeah. INCONV. And now here's where God needs to get involved.
No.
No E?
Wait, what? You just said I.
What I said? Wait. INCONV.
Yeah. No.
No? Oh.
Making fun of the autistic son of the protagonist and saying they want Asperger's. Totally into it. Oh. But I'm saying that might be why it was changed to that instead of, because there was a character in a movie saying Asperger and somebody, some helicopter mom was like, we should change it so they can no longer call them, so they can no longer bully them with Asperger. And it's like, you just made it needless. Number one, you just made it needlessly complicated, and two, they're still going to call your kid a retard.
Oh, fuck. Well, yeah, no, I'm doing the I before E, but too early. See, I just get fucked up, man. I get fucked up. I'm an idiot. I can spell. I'm a good speller. I came in 4th place in the 5th grade spelling bee. Circumstance is pretty easy, though. I mean, come on. Let's figure it out here. It's Friday night. Remind me to bring you the whore door present. What is a whore door present? A penis? Whore door. Yeah, that's what it's called. So apparently it's not whore door, it's hors d'oeuvres.
I once saw somebody refer to them as whores d'ivores. Say psych right now. Psych!
Oh, well, let's be fair here. No one outside of France can spell that on the first go. Like, give me a break, dude. We've taken every other word that's French. Is this a French word? Because I don't want to keep saying it.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be French. We've taken every other French word and made an English version. This one, though, one of the hardest, that's like 2 words with an apostrophe in the middle of the bitch. This is the one that we're going to keep the same? Come on. Can we just call them appetizers? They're appetizers, except they're lifted on a plate.
They're not fancy if they're appetizers, though.
Well, isn't hors d'oeuvres just they're walked?
Is that thing?
I think. Isn't like hors d'oeuvres just like I'm walking with them? What is it? What is an hors d'oeuvre?
It's just a small dish.
It's a small dish, so maybe it is an appetizer. I just said appetizer. I'm getting real American here. Yeah, hors d'oeuvre is a toughie. You know, and I don't. Hors d'oeuvre is a bad attempt. Let's. I'll be fair there. That's not it. It's not even close. Okay. No, I don't even know what's going on anymore. Okay. Never take your life for granted, The Rock. You never know it's going to be your time, one day at a time.
Look at what Howard in Big Bang Theory said to his mom when she said she ate the last red popsicle. Because I doubt it'll let me hear. Okay. Yeah, valid. Like, never take for granted. And it's an AI generated image of Ozzy, Hulk, and I forget that guy's name. Take for granted. I don't even drink and I feel like I need a shot.
First of all, that's not even how you say that. Granite's wrong, but like that's not even. You never know it's going to be your time, one day at a time. Is like that's like 3 different expressions in one. Also, what the fuck is this photo? I mean, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Like, who made this? Like, what AI machine shit its pants and spit this out? Like, this is ridiculous, dude.
It was probably Grok.
And Ozzy Osbourne's got lizard eyes. You know, like, this is very strange. And he's got my grandma's throat. What is that? I'm not familiar with who the black dude is, but again, I don't, like, the Hulk Hogan, like... Listen, get me out of here, Dick. I'm convinced that looks can be this evening. Oh, my God. Right...
I'm getting flashbacks to Chicken Permission. And all the 17 septillion misspellings of the word pregnant. Bruh doesn't even begin to fucking cover it.
Right on I believe this is like Hinge. It's a dating profile.
This is a dating profile.
Yeah, it's a dating profile. Maybe this was on purpose. Looks can be this evening. So that dudes are like, that's not... And then, you know what I'm saying? It's like an opening.
I don't know if women need help getting attention.
Yeah.
Men from
That's very
men's
true.
attention.
I'm just saying, maybe she's quirky or something, you know what I mean? And she's like, it's like a joke. Because if she really thinks that's how you spell that. What, $150 a lip tickle machine? Oh, an elliptical. Oh.
Okay, I'm just going to start letting this run because if I pause it every single one of them, we're going to be here a while. I can already feel my IQ slipping below 90.
Oh my God. A lip tickle machine. You want to go to the gym? Hit the lip tickle. You go down there. Dude, all right.
Lip tickle sound... I'm just going to say it, put it out there. Lip tickle sounds like a weird sexual fellatio technique.
You know what it is about the elliptical? There's an old woman in my building that she's always on it. Like
those don't work, right?
I mean, I think it does. Like it is a decent workout, but for whatever reason, there's an old woman in my building, and when she does it, she sways, dude, like a boat on rocky waters. She goes.
I feel like people overcompensate on that thing.
What do you mean they overcompensate?
Like they go so hard on them because
Some
they
people
know it's the worst machine that puts in the least amount of effort at the gym.
All I know is that every time I go into the gym, this old woman is on the elliptical rocking the fuck out of it. She is at sea, fucking deadliest catch, just fucking rocking back and forth. Elliptical machine. I mean, I would have bought it for the 150 just for that. That's a great sign. All right, before we get to the rest of this video, we do have some sponsors. The first one being SeatGeek. Okay, SeatGeek is where you're going to want to buy your tickets. If you download the...
Bro, why do you look like Hassan when he was doing that like pickup artist bro type character way back when?
App in the App Store, and you can get any tickets you want on there. You want to go to a concert, you want to go to a baseball game, football game, hockey game, whatever you want, any sort of sporting event, or you want to go to a play or whatever, they got them on SeatGeek. There's over 70,000 events on there at any given time. And they're the best. I love their transparency. You go onto their platform and you can see that all the tickets are color-coded. So the ones that are dark green are a really good bang for your buck ticket. The ones that are dark red, they're telling you, hey, stay away. This is very expensive. You shouldn't pay this much. So I enjoy the transparency. And yeah, they're the #1 rated ticketing app in the App Store. I've been using them for years. So if you're going to be going to anything, you might as well save some money. So that's what we're going to do. I mean, this year... you can take someone to something nice, go to a concert or whatever. Get 10% off of your tickets by using the code JOE2026, okay? That is 10% off of any of the tickets when you download SeatGeek and use that code JOE2026, okay? So enjoy the 10% off and enjoy the show. We also have Prize Picks. Prize Picks is a fun app that you can download and start winning some money potentially, okay? How it works is it's very simple. You're just picking more or less based on stat projections. So if you're really into baseball, then you can say, is Aaron Judge going to have more or less than 1.5 hits this game? And if you do that a couple of times, 2 to 6, player stat projections, then you could win some money. And they even have early payouts. So if, 3 of your 6 have won so far and you kind of want to cash out, you can do an early payout. Even if the rest of it doesn't hit, you're good. So yeah, it's very easy to understand. I played it all through football season, and I like it because it's just very easy. It's just more or less. You're not competing against other people that maybe spend so much time doing this or whatever. You're just going against the projections. So it's very easy to understand, but it's not just baseball. There's also other sports. There's UFC, soccer, college basketball, hockey, there's golf, esports, but yeah, they have a bunch of stuff like that. But you can download the PrizePicks app today and use the code Santagato, and you'll get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup, okay? That is code Santagato to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup, okay? PrizePicks, it's good to be right. So go enjoy that. Like I said, the code is Santagato. Go download PrizePicks and get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Good luck.
How fucking long did that take? See, from 5:37 to 8:18. It took you almost 4 entire minutes to... Dude. I don't watch the Daily Wire's content regularly. Like, maybe 1 or 2 videos here and there if I'm really just that fucking bored. There's a reason they spread their ad reads out. Spread it out a little bit. Like, maybe do 1 ad read in the middle and then do 1 ad read at the end. Because that right there, that whole, almost a 4-minute stretch of just you droning on in your fucking ad read, that's physical pain. That is physical pain, and it's not physical pain in an I don't have the attention span for this manner. It's physical pain as in, okay, just get to the fucking point so we can get back to the fucking content. You make me want to actually skip the ad reads. And you're not supposed to skip ad reads because it's common fucking courtesy. Holy fucking shit.
The fuck is this? Why is bro in handcuffs?
I've seen that one.
What did bro do? Why are you handcuffing him? First of all, also, let's get this out of the way. Before we get into the spelling and how that's funny or whatever, why do handcuffs exist in that size?
They don't. It's AI generated.
What's going on? Who's that?
At least I'm pretty sure it's AI generated. Because I've seen videos of cops handcuffing cats, and they all have the Sora OpenAI watermark on them.
4. That is a kitten, and there's handcuffs on it. What the fuck is that? This feels like jail.
Yeah, don't make this dark.
You know, but I'm just saying, like, I mean, you're handcuffing a cat. What's going on? You know what I mean? You're handcuffing it. Not milk unless you get cat milk. The real human stuff will give her a diarrhea. Honestly, this is not technically wrong, because your rear will be in dire trouble. You know what I mean? Also, what is this even a comment under? Not milk unless you get cat milk?
I assume like feeding milk to a cat or an animal.
Someone's on Reddit like, can I feed a cat milk? And it's like...
Wait, does cat milk exist?
I have no fucking idea.
How much crap do you have for some your phone? Is that a text-to-speech error? How much crack did you have before someone gave you your phone back?
Idea, dude. I mean, they must create milk. I mean, I've seen cats like feed on their mother tits. That's not how I wanted to say that. I thought that they just drink warm milk.
No, it's not.
Like, if I found a stray cat, I'd be like, well, I'm going to warm up this, like, almond milk and let it go crazy.
Almond milk?
I mean, I live in Brooklyn. No, like, you know, whole milk or something. I don't know. But can you feed a cow's milk to a cat? Bro, we're getting crazy now.
That's what this conversation's about.
Okay. She's going to have a diarrhea. You goddamn right. This is kind of a crazy question. I never even, like, thought about this because I never grew up around cats. I didn't really think cats could get diarrhea. But now this makes sense. Do all animals get diarrhea?
I think all animals can get that.
Never mind how they misspell simple words. Autocorrect is a thing. So, part of me has to wonder if they just turned off the autocorrect entirely, which wouldn't shock me, because some people are so insecure that they can't stand to be corrected by a machine.
Does a dolphin poop? Are you Googling that?
They definitely poop.
Oh! Greg's pulling up a picture of a dolphin shitting, like, Gatorade yellow. Dude, that is gross. All right, we've veered off the path too much.
That dolphin has diarrhea.
I don't need to see all this dolphin poop. I'm never going in the water again. What even is this? Can we zoom in a little bit? Frank incest? Okay, that's supposed to say frankincense, which, you know, to be fair, no idea what that is. I know it's not spelled that way, and you should too, because those are two different words. Okay? Frank and incest, you know that's not what it is. All right? What is the other ones? Peppermint, lemongrass, geranium. What is this? Dust? Like a spice? Spices?
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 Spices, yeah.
Frankincest. Disgusting.
Me before tried to go for a swim, but I didn't wait an hour and I had Taco Bell. Oh, that's just nasty. It might be a spice. It might be spices, is what is in those boxes. Frankincest. Well, it's gonna taste like a combination. I'm wondering if the frankincest tastes like a combination, or not a combination, just tastes like really salty cheese. I'm just gonna let that sit there for a bit.
Absolutely disgusting. Especially because I know Frank and his whole family. They're gross. That's gross. Chicken permission. Oh, this is a throwback. I've done this in an older video before, chicken permission. And I see that we're still going strong. One thing I do want to say is that I'm a big fan of chicken parm. This is the most disgusting one I've ever fucking seen. Okay, this is bottom of the barrel chicken parm. If you sit down at a restaurant and they serve you that, throw the plate and walk the fuck out. I don't even know, what's supposed to be on that? Because that's not what basil looks like. Like, what is that? Is that like shredded lettuce? Like, what is that? That is a disgusting chicken parm, and that's coming from an Italian. People who eat dogs are disgusting. And that's coming from an Italian. People...
Okay. Hear this after salting my homemade pizza. People who eat dogs are disgusting. What they be saying?
People who eat dogs are disgusting. Yeah, disgusting is the word you're looking for. But maybe not. Maybe you are seeing a gaggle of men eating dogs, and they are chatting it up. But probably not. Probably not. I was trying to live vicariously through you. That's so good. I'm living vicariously through you, which I guess you could.
Imagine vegan teacher reacting to that. Oh God. Oh God, she'd hyperventilate.
Could do if like you're a straight guy and you're like, you know, this girl who's like hooking up with who's a hot dude, like
Chris Pine.
Chris. So if you know a girl who's hooking up with Chris Pine and you're like, oh, that's dope. I'm not gay, so I wouldn't do that, but I'm going to live vicariously through you. Tell me how it was. You know, like that's when you're asking a woman friend about her sexual relations with men, you're living vicariously through in that moment. It doesn't mean you're bi or curious. You're just, well, you're curious. You're just not, it's a temporary, you know what I mean? Please ejaculate. This hurricane is serious. If you were in the area, leave. Hurry up and ejaculate. The hurricane is so serious, get that nut off and get the hell out of there. That's basically what they're saying. Please, please, for the love of God, ejaculate. You can't get sucked up into the hurricane without ejaculating. Be real.
But what if it's coming in on No Nut November? I guess you're just fucked.
What are y'all doing in this situation? I have a friend who sends me stuff like this, and it pisses me off. like an AI photo of like, what even is that? Like some animal about to eat Earth, and it's like, what do you think I'm gonna do? Like I've had friends be like, yo, if a fucking giant wave came over the buildings in Manhattan, like, what are you gonna do? What do you think I'm gonna say?
Ejaculate? Obviously.
Yeah, I'm gonna ejaculate. What do you think? I'm gonna pull out a jetpack that I invented out of my closet and fly away? I'm dead. Oh, and see, this is this is exactly the kind of answer I would give. I will shoot myself before that stupid thing engulfs the earth. Oh my God. Not engulfs. Engulfs. This thing is going to bite into the earth and then hit a birdie. We love it at our house. Put a splash of Wash Your Sister sauce in that gravy and give it a little bit more flavor. Wash Your Sister sauce.
Well, now we know. Made it through No Nut November. No Nut November is such a sham. Just nut. Nut everywhere. Wash Your Sister sauce. Well, now we know how they pronounce it in L.A., Lower Alabama.
That just sounds disgusting. I think that has a different meaning in certain parts of Alabama. Yeah, I mean, another just ridiculously named thing. Not a big fan of that at all. It's up there with hors d'oeuvres. I think those we should make a petition to change. You know, let's like fix the spelling on these things. Not fix. They can exist. Let's just get another one. You know, let's get an easier one because no one knows how to pronounce that. Okay, they got people saying Wash Your Sister sauce. That's clearly wrong. Okay, well.
If you're from Boston, they call it Worcester sauce.
There you have it, folks. Chris Pine, washing your sister, and dolphins taking a shit in the ocean. You get everything in this type of video, but don't forget to subscribe, and we will see you next time.
Alrighty, we're gonna save this next one for tomorrow's stream, cause I gotta re-energize myself after that. After so much aberrant stupidity. Kaysen, at your suggestion, yes, I will see if I can get Life of Kai's. I'll put Life of Kai's latest Cyrax video in the watch later for tomorrow if it's not too long. Yeah, I gotta hop off here and re-energize myself and hopefully revive my IQ after all that aberrant stupidity. I mean, there's a reason the stream is called Got Dumb. So I am going to hop off here. I am going to go have birthday dinner with my sisters and my mom and my nephew. And text me in a few cool thing, man. And I will catch you guys tomorrow afternoon. Same sped time, same sped channel, except hopefully Kaysen should be on, so you'll be getting a double dose of the tism for tomorrow. Catch you guys later.